this is the way.
We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter.
There is only one way. The way of the Mandalore.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
I'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards. I'm Din Djarin, and is Grogu. Strap in.
Rebel Force Radio presents The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, the horrible baby. The bad baby.
After show.
All right, let's get ready for round 2 of The Mandalorian and Grogu after show here on Rebel Force Radio. Thank you so much for being with us. You know, I mean, there were a number of reasons why we decided to jump on and do a live stream. But the most important one is that not everybody could make their way to Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of people did. The turnout was great. We had an amazing hang with some of the usual cast of characters that you hear on these after shows and over on Patreon, the VIP with the Q&A programs and all that stuff. But not everybody could make it. Our own Baby Belushi, who I see in the chat right now, he can make it to this, but he wasn't able to make it to Cleveland. So it's a big deal. It's the first time that Star Wars has been back in theaters in 7 years, and we can't possibly, we just couldn't possibly let it go by without giving everyone a shot at participating here with Rebel Force Radio and an after show. It's a big, big deal. And because of it being such a big deal, we are going to take another swing at this and talk more about Grogu and the Mandalorian and Grogu. And we're going to open up the phone lines, of course, because that's what we want. We want to hear from you. What do you think? What does this mean for the future of Star Wars? What does it mean for the future of these characters? Were the villains scary enough? Were they big enough? Did it just feel like a couple of episodes cobbled together, or was this something altogether different? All those questions are on the table. And even if you just want to say, you know what, guys, screw this movie, I can't wait to see Starfighter, that's fine too. Consider this sort of a town hall all about, of course, the focus is on Mandalorian and Grogu, but it's also very much about the future of Star Wars. So we're so glad that you can be here and hang out with us for a couple of hours. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you want to get off your chest, some good, some bad, some in between. We're here for all of it on Rebel Force Radio. And by Rebel Force Radio, I mean me. My name is Jason, and with me, as always, my good friend and yours from Chicago, back in Chicago, Jimmy Mack.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Star Wars fans. Glad to be back. Glad to be back talking more about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Thank you to everyone who joined us in Cleveland for The Mandalorian and Grogu After Show live from Playhouse Square Theater, the Upper Allen Theater to be specific at Playhouse Square, followed by an excellent after party at Hofbräu House, where the energy and friendship and laughter were very much off the charts. And then there was an after party, which was also a ton of fun as well. So hopefully everybody made it home safely from the fiesta, and you're buckling in for more Mandalorian and Grogu talk. I've seen the movie 3 times now. I've seen it in 3 different formats. I've seen it in the Dolby Cinema. I've seen it via XD. That's the projection we saw in Cleveland. And I've seen it in real IMAX. So I'm pretty excited about breaking it down this week, because the more I see this movie, the more I like it. I have to be honest with you. It really grows on you. In the truest of all Star Wars fashion, you can never fully judge a Star Wars film by just one screening. You really have to let yourself soak it in. Make it part of your entire system, have the Star Wars flowing through your veins. And the only way you can do that is through multiple screenings. That's what made Star Wars work in the first place. We all just didn't look at it once and judge it on surface level. We spent some time with each and every Star Wars film that's been released. We've watched some of them 500 times, and that's what builds up our knowledge and what makes the storytelling really resonate with us more. Is the more time we spend with these movies, the better they are, and that's a time-proven fact.
I'm really glad you said that, Jim, because as I was prepping for this, and I was reminding myself of just like one example, right? We've got the two former Imperials here. We've got the Commander Faro that we meet in the beginning on the ice planet, and then we've also got Commander Coin, who also goes by Lord Janu, and both of these actors and their characters were seen in Mandalorian Season 3 as part of the Shadow Council. And if there was, like there was, once upon a time, more time to digest these stories, then names like Commander Faro would be right off the top of our head. It's not, because you get done with Mando Season 3, and now you're thrown into a completely different part of the timeline, a whole different set of characters, just a matter of months or later. So like the story unfolds in all these different pockets and all these different facets, fast and furiously, and you don't always have time to digest them before you're kind of expected to move on to the next thing. And so I'm really glad we're taking this time tonight to have a chance to go over some of the things that maybe we missed or weren't thinking about in the initial blush after seeing the movie the first time. Because you're so right. These movies are, and this one is no exception, they're dense and they're packed with lots of visuals and lots of little Easter eggs and things like that. And it's sort of blink and you miss it.
So the initial Imperial warlord on the snow planet, his name was Faro, F-A-R-O, Faro.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There's a Mexican restaurant I really like called El Faro. So I hope there's a couple of burritos sitting on the counter for me. Yeah, he's working behind the counter at El Faro. And I hope there's a couple of burritos sitting there on the counter for me next time I walk in. Comped for the plug.
Well, he got his, I don't think he's working anywhere after blowing up there on that, whatever that planet was.
Oh, no, he's extra crispy
toast.
now.
Yeah.
It's so great, again, to talk about seeing the mini rig in action in the way it was intended to be used as a toy back in 1980. You place it inside the Kenner AT-AT. And so when it's ready, when it's time to wire your cockpit to explode and escape out the side hatch on your mini rig, you're ready to go. The INT-4. And that's the thing about this movie that I think people aren't really appreciating, because, I mean, let's face it, there really isn't much new stuff going on here, but they're taking things that we've seen before in the past, sometimes just merely in the background, and they're pushing these vehicles and characters or alien species, what have you. They're pushing them to their limit. They're showing what the true potential of this stuff was, that sometimes only lingered in the background or sometimes was at the bottom of the toy box and never used. Right. Now it's getting used to extreme, I think, a great effect. And the mini rig at the beginning of the movie is just one perfect example of that. Bring back the mini rig. I want to see all the mini rigs come back. Come on, why stop with just this one?
Up to this point, I think the only mini rig, and it was the only one that I ever owned as a kid, the only mini rig that actually saw screen time was the big ion cannon from Hoth. That was sold as a mini rig.
Was that so? I think like the E-Web cannon that the stormtroopers use, that was a mini rig. Yeah. But I think the ion cannon, I think that was its own separate play set. I don't think that was
wasn't technically a mini rig.
I don't think that was mini rig proper. But I think that was more like in the play set neighborhood.
Then I never had a mini rig. That's the only one. I thought that was a mini rig, but
never had a mini rig
in the chat.
Never had a dinner. Never had a dinner. Never had a mini rig. I'm sorry. I was riffing. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The other thing that we talked about, but we missed a couple. We were talking about cameos in this film, and there was a big one that I had no idea about, and I'm talking about Anthony Daniels as this droid that is perched up on top of this this watchtower, very reminiscent of Yavin. And sure enough, there you go. He's credited right there. Anthony Daniels, air traffic control droid.
So that was him they had perched up there in that. I mean, it's the classic thing that we see in the original. During the opening credits. So that's Anthony Daniels. It's that classic, that classic thing, that watchtower they had on Yavin Base when the Falcon came flying in, and it's essentially a guy placed into a garbage can up on top of a pole, and he then points something at the ship as it flies by.
So he's getting a credit for this. And I guess, you know what? I'm making an assumption that it's a droid. How dare I? Because it may not be a droid. All we know is that it's air. Oh, yeah, it is a droid. Air traffic control droid. Okay, and this is him. So what do you make of that? I guess maybe Anthony was in town. He happened to be in California, and they said, hey, why don't you want to be in this movie? You want to keep your record up? As having been in the Star Wars movies of any other actor, we can pop you in here.
They should have just thrown the gold plating on him and had him walk around and do C-3PO stuff.
Could have been on a Delphi base. People would have. There's people saying they saw R2-D2 on a Delphi base. So I'm waiting for the screen captures.
We see an R2 unit, but I think he has red plating as opposed to the blue plating, the blue and silver.
Well, there's people saying they saw R5-D4 out there too. Well, no, he definitely is in there. He's walking around behind Zeb and Mando on a Delphi base, or a droid that looks just like R5. But R5 is Mando-verse canon for sure.
Yeah.
But,
true. Very true. But not spotted in this movie. Another cameo that I'm surprised that did not happen is Bill Burr. No Bill Burr. I would have thought that they would have tapped into some Bill Burr, but really no connections whatsoever to the TV show outside of the fact that Mando has a home on Navarro. Beyond that, there is no connection to the TV show at all. Not at all.
Well, those imperial warlords of the Shadow Council.
But the Shadow Council itself was not represented. They just cherry-picked two of the guys who were sitting there.
That's correct. Yes.
You know, I mean,
so the larger concept, right?
Like that kind of character rollover, while I appreciate it for its consistency, you could have put any actors in there and just said they're Imperial warlords. We didn't necessarily need them to be from the Shadow Council because the Shadow Council did not have anything to do with this story. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, no,
when
I
I say
you.
There's no rollover. And to have Bill Burr there, then you would have to reference his connection to the whole story and to the Mandalorian and everything. And that's not the direction they went in with this movie. I thought for sure it would be. I thought we would see like the all-stars of Mandalorian, the series, being up on the silver screen. You'd have an Amy Sedaris there. You would have... who's still around too. That's also something to remember, is because a lot of the supporting staff has been killed off. Guys like Nick Nolte, Carl Weathers,
right? You could have
even
had
the
a
John
Bo-Katan.
Favreau.
I mean, they did an entire
Bo-Katan.
season with Bo-Katan. I mean, she's been in the series since season 2. So you could
Fennec
have had
Shand, Tamora Morrison. So they could have had a bunch of people in there, and Lizzo. Puppet Lando was really disappointed with the lack of Lizzo.
Yeah, I heard about that a lot, actually, from Puppet Lando throughout the whole weekend. He really
the whole weekend, he was just ranting over glass after glass of Crevassier, just ranting about how unsexy
Lizzo
this movie was.
Lizzo that.
Yeah, Lizzo. Yeah, Swank was there, you know.
Yeah. Oh, another cameo that I don't think was brought up in the after show was Doug Chang as Lieutenant Blick. So Doug Chang, also one of the X-Wing fighters, so that he joins Deborah Chow and Rick Famuyiwa and Dave Filoni and the guy that plays Carson Teva, So yeah, so a number of cameos, but boy, the Anthony Daniel ones really caught me by surprise, and that's something that I'm not seeing reported super widely. But as you were talking about the touchstones back to the series and the lack of them, I have just been devouring as much as I can via YouTube and the social media, because Filoni and Favreau are out there right now, and they are singing like canaries. I mean, they are singing. Oh yeah. There's been a ton of stuff. I know that we'll be bringing that for all the listeners on future editions of Rebel Force Radio. I've been sending you some links. So
those junket,
but yeah, a lot of junket stuff. A lot of junket stuff. But
that stuff can be pretty bland.
It
So
normally
I'm surprised to
is,
hear
but
you're
not
saying
with Favreau and Filoni. They're letting some details go. What? Well, I don't even get into it because we'll talk about them off air, and we'll make sure that we pull them because we'll have them in future episodes. But
definitely,
yeah. So this is a call-in show, by the way. We're not waiting for the second hour. We want you guys to call. We want to get the queues ready. I'm actually opening up the switchboard right now. Tyler is ready to screen the calls. And I told him, I said, look, there's not much to screen here. Pretty much anything goes. I liken this to sort of a town hall, a state of Star Wars in the aftermath of this film. We're obviously going to be going back and talking about the characters and the story elements and all of that. But give us a call, 708-866-1737. And as I say, Tyler Page, there he is. There's Tyler back in his cockpit at home and ready to rock and listen to your calls and get him on the air for us. So thank you very much, Tyler, as always. So 708-866-1737. Let's talk about your favorite scene. What moments worked? What moments didn't work? I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the chat. And well, as always, I think I mentioned this at the top of the show. We love your super chats. You guys are always so kind, but we would much rather you, especially with this after show, give us a call and be on the air with us and have a conversation.
For sure. Super chat, but if you don't want to, super chats are fine too.
Yeah, that's true.
Turn those away.
So, Jim, what is seeing the film 3 times? What is something that you grasped or grabbed on that third viewing that you didn't in the first 2?
Just probably more cohesive connection between the story about the Hutts and the story about the Imperial Warlord and how they intersect.
Oh,
and,
good. Okay.
And also understanding a little bit more about the motivation of the twins, why they wanted to get Rada back. Apparently, they just wanted to torture him. I think they were knowledgeable of the fact that Coin had planned to rig the Dejarik game so Rada would be killed by unleashing all of those beasts. All original beasts from the Millennium Falcon chessboard, by the way, too, which is an awesome tribute and something I was really hoping for when those initial promotional pictures of of Rada facing off against the Mantelian Savrip, I think you call it, from the chessboard.
Right.
That's the only, it's the only one I can identify.
Is that the one that hoists the smaller one up on? And throws
it is
it
with the
down?
long neck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that one that he picks up, he's a lot of fun too. He's just like this real rambunctious kind of almost caveman sort of vibe I get from him. And so when I saw that creature was going to be presented in live action as a living, breathing thing, I was hoping that we were going to actually get a live Dejarik game, some hollow chess happening without the hollow. And that's exactly what we got. That sequence is more fun to watch over and over again because it goes from Din battling Rada to Rada and Din teaming up to take on the monsters. And then the monsters escape and go nuts in the city. Meanwhile, there's a great car chase, speeder chase through the city that results in then Rada being apprehended by, stopped by Zeb and then apprehended by Din. And it's just a great action sequence. What else can I say? That's what this movie's all about. And I also want to say this. to the pundits who continually keep saying online that this felt like watching episodes of the TV show. The action sequences and special effects in this movie far surpass anything we've seen on television, on the streaming series, by a million light speed miles. I don't know how else to put it.
I
If
could
you
not
don't
agree
see
with
that,
you more. Yeah. Go back and rewatch seasons 1 and 2 and
Please
3
do.
and point to anything that's as big and badass as what the sequences that we saw in this movie. They're just
Nothing
not there.
compares.
Yeah.
Nothing compares. You'll just go back and start complaining about the volume again when you go back to watch those early seasons. So if you just like to complain, you say stuff like that. And you also say there was no plot, which is ridiculous. There was totally a plot in this movie. And there was like
There's a lot of plot.
and a subplot. You know, there were two plots really when you think about it. The first one being the story about the Hutts, and the second one being the story about the Imperial Warlord. I mean, that's a plot and a subplot right there, and they intersect. And the way they do so is maybe a little confusing, but and maybe a little half-baked, but it's still there. It's still there, and it's easy enough to follow, if you ask me.
Yeah, and that's really important. We stress this a lot about when you're talking about a new Star Wars movie or a new Star Wars series. It's really important to talk about the stuff that's there. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that's not there. And that's interesting as well, Jim, because you know that there were opportunities. There was low-hanging fruit, to be cliche, ways to fold this into the stories that came before, as well as the stories that we know are coming after. And in every instance, Favreau goes the other way. He doesn't do it. He does not connect the Imperial warlords to the Shadow Council, who many of whom are sitting around waiting for the return of Thrawn. We know that's the next big arc in the saga. And we know that Grogu has met both now Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker, and Boba Fett still lurking around, connected very much with the Hutt twins as being, I don't know, just the last bastion of where Jabba's power is not consolidated under the twins there on Tatooine. So what I'm trying to say is there was lots of potential for them to connect, and Favreau just refused.
He sure did, yeah. And I maybe that was some marching orders he had received, but I don't know. He said in one of those interviews you were talking about, I heard John saying that he was asking Filoni for many, many different things, many different toys out of the toy box, and Filoni would say no to a lot of things he was presenting.
Yeah.
So Dave
what a weird dynamic. Real quick, I just got to throw that in there. Like, they start out and Dave is John's protege, and now Dave is John's boss.
Yeah, that is strange. That is strange. But of course, the old protect the young and the young protect the old. This is the way. So I guess that's what's happening here is Star Wars. But Favreau's not that much older than Filoni. But still, it works. That dynamic works. And I think, Filoni's going to tackle the big picture stuff on Ahsoka. So if you're really into Wikipedia pages and lore and all of that stuff, you'll get it. You'll get it. But because this movie wasn't top heavy with all of that stuff, I don't think that's a fair thing to use to bash this movie. I think you need to look at this movie as what it is and judge it on its own merits as a standalone Star Wars adventure. And I think that if you take that pressure off, you'll find yourself enjoying the movie a lot more than you have been. Again, addressing the critics and pundits out there, all of you red letter media wannabes, I see you. I'm on to you.
Yes. I tried to consolidate some of the positive and the negative reactions that we're seeing online. Also, you know what? We're sitting here on Tuesday night. I think the film surprised a lot of people. Those that were saying it was going to come in at $80 million for the holiday weekend. I think it came in at like 120 domestic.
I think it was 102.
Was it 102? Oh,
yeah.
okay, 102.
Just like $1 million below Solo.
Yeah, $1 million below Solo.
So everyone's, running headlines that this is the weakest opening for any Star Wars film ever, comparing it to Solo, while this movie was made at about a third of the budget of Solo at the end of the day when you factor in production costs and marketing.
Well, hey, 100 million is better than 80 million. And I think it's a hard thing to yeah, I think I think that it's fine. And 100 million is still it's not too shabby. It might be Star Wars shabby, but if it was any other film, most any other film, I think people would be pretty pleased with it. It's just also such a different scenario because people are used to seeing these characters and getting these characters every couple of years with their Disney Plus.
Right. I got to say, I think the numbers are artificially inflated, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you why. I bought a ticket for IMAX last night.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to the theater and the guy went to scan my phone for the QR code, we discovered that I bought the ticket for the wrong theater. So the other theater was about 15 minutes away. So I had to eat that ticket. It was too late to give me a refund. So,
wait a minute.
Yes. So I bought a ticket for the movie, but didn't see it last night.
Yeah. So you're saying that
So
that
that
one
counted.
ticket
I'm just saying.
It doesn't say eyeballs. It's all about tickets sold. And technically that ticket was sold.
Oh,
But
technically it was. Technically it was. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter whether you saw it or not. But, I mean, the other thing, too, is that when you look at the ticket prices, and you're talking about, say, $100 million domestically, that's not as many people as it used to be as far as bodies going into the theaters. And so for everybody talking about, well, my theater was half full, my theater was a third full or whatever, it doesn't take as many bodies to come up with that kind of money when you're talking about the prices today of movie theaters or going to see a movie in the theater. So
the IMAX tickets alone are $20 a piece, and that's before they factor in taxes and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, it's costing a lot.
The positives are people saying that they love the father-son dynamic between Din and Grogu. Some people are saying this is about time that you get a simpler standalone film, a storyline that can be appreciated by casual and new viewers. Great action sequences, Jim, as we were talking about. Big screen, feels very cinematic. The negatives, feels like an extended TV episode.
Open your eyes. Open your eyes and look at the quality of what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
Look beyond your cynicism. Look beyond your desire to be the smartest guy in the room. Open your eyes, because you actually sound like the stupidest guy in the room when you say stuff like that. Not you, Jason. Again,
right. I'm merely quoting. Now, this is interesting.
Also, I'm not shilling for this movie either. I'm saying this stuff because I honestly believe it. I'm not doing anybody any favors.
Oh, I'll totally, not that you need it, but I will vouch for you and vouch here for Rebel Force Radio. There's no shilling because there's no shills. There's no shekels being thrown our way. There's nothing being thrown our way to like this movie or not like this movie. This is exactly what you come to know and trust about Rebel Force Radio, that you are going to get a fair assessment of this content that's coming out of Lucasfilm. We don't have any skin in the game in terms of, we're not worried about access being cut off, not being invited to the next premiere, not getting links to watch the episodes of the next TV show before everybody else. That's not what we do here.
We already pissed all that away years ago. just by being ourselves.
Oh, this is interesting. Some people are saying that there's too much, and I've heard this in a number of places, too much reliance on nostalgia. Yet these are the same people that are saying, or, there's also other people saying that it was a great standalone adventure for novices, newcomers, and that sort of thing. So nostalgia, I'm not seeing any big, I don't see nostalgia bait with this movie really at all, to be honest with you.
Some people say things like it's being nostalgic, or it's playing off your member berries, or whatever they say, or the fan service line is my favorite. Simply because there is a mini rig in there, or a man-a-man, or
come on.
Something else, an X-Wing. There's an X-Wing. Oh, yeah, fan service.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
this is the Star Wars universe.
Right.
These are essentials. These are staples of that universe. And you're going to say that they're using nostalgia simply because they place that stuff in there? You know what would have been nostalgia? And I think that it would have been great if they did this. He might be a little aged out to play the role, and maybe they didn't want to de-age him. But Harrison Ford would have been a great guy to give Din his orders as opposed to Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
I think it would be
General
so cool to have like General
God.
Solo. He's still serving. This is only a few years after Return of the Jedi. So you'd think that he's still in the service. And that's kind of the character I wanted to see in the sequels to begin with. So if you get a Harrison Ford in there and maybe de-age him a little bit, again, I don't think they wanted to go the de-aging route for this film specifically, but that would have really made fans go nuts.
Yeah.
Huts need a professional. So it would be great, as opposed to the terrible line reading of Sigourney Weaver. I really paid attention to that on my most recent screening as well.
Yeah, I was starting to worry, Jim, that maybe we were a little harsh, but you're saying on subsequent viewings, it's, when you're looking for it, it's even worse.
She delivers her dialogue like an actor who does not want to be there. She really does. Or maybe the character is giving these orders to people she doesn't want to be working with or something. I mean, that's just like the vibe, I guess. She's like, all right, X-Wings, let's go blow this up. What the hell? That's sort of the tude I get off of Colonel War.
Yeah,
but I'm not all that offended.
Sure,
I'm not all offended by that.
On the promotional trail, she seems like really psyched to be in Star Wars. So maybe it's just some bad direction from Favreau on the character, or just bad choices from the actor.
Or they rushed through her shooting. Sometimes that happens too. She's only available for one day. Got to squeeze it all in, and whatever we get, and that's just how we're going to have to deal with it. George would be like, all right, what we're going to do here is we're going to have Sigourney stand here. We're going to put that guy's body on Sigourney, and then we're going to have horns coming out of her head here. And
it's all done in post. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It's all done in post. All right. Well, let's jump to the phones. We've got Ian, Patreon member, Ian from Idaho, wants to talk about the movie and has some speculation on how it may be seen in the years to come. Hello, Ian.
Yeah, I really think that this movie is going to it's not being looked at well now by a lot of critics, and I think a lot of people are going to miss out and not go to the theater because of that. I think 5 to 10 years, this movie is going to be seen in a better light, and I think a lot of people are going to regret not going out to theaters, and a lot of the critics, I think, are going to eat their words, because right now, you guys are really the only ones talking positively about the movie right now. There's a lot of people that just talking really negatively about it and calling it boring, and I've seen it twice, and I had a great time each time.
God, I can't imagine walking out of this thing saying it was boring.
You must hate life. It's like, what, do you hate life? Come on, let's go. Here's the real metric. If I can just throw this out real quick. I think from the reports I've been hearing, this movie has been really getting great response from young boys, like ages 7 to 13. Like they're nuts for this movie. When I went into the theater today, there were a group of kids coming out with a dad, And they were all saying, "Oh, that was so good. That was so much better than I thought it would be." They really were just like raving about it. And I was like, wow, what a great sight. I'm so glad that timed out so I was able to get some of that energy off of that group of kids. And so I think if we go through the summer and we start seeing kids wearing Mandalorian and Grogu shirts and backpacks and things like that, then we'll start to understand, hey, maybe this film has had a little bit more impact on the youth. And they're responding to it in ways we don't understand at all, because most of those kids don't have social media accounts, but their parents know. And if those kids start asking for those t-shirts and backpacks and pajamas and things like that, and we start seeing it, then we'll know that this is a film that's resonating with kids.
And we know that kids don't give jack squat about what the critics think or say.
Oh,
they're not even
oblivious
aware of
to it.
Oblivious to it, yeah. So, and we also don't need a bunch of adults peeing in the pool that these kids are now swimming in. And there was a clip from Filoni where he talked very specifically about them thinking about kids when they were putting this movie together. So that was not lost on them. But Ian, what is interesting, what you're saying is you think that this will actually age well, so that over years people will think, wow, this really was something special when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, like I go to the theaters and the people are, there with families and with kids are having a great time. And I think a lot of it is the weight and expectation of Star Wars. Like, oh, it's got to have a certain box office number, or this is the first movie in 7 years. I think people are expecting more lore. But I think if you go in without all that, you just have a good time. It's like, it reminds me of any of the movies I watched, growing up in the 80s of, you name it, Jim Henson, not even Star Wars stuff. It's like that same vibe. It doesn't have to be part of a whole universe. You can just have fun with it. And I think once people are watching without the weight of it, they have fun with it and realize it's a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like the dark side cave on Dagobah, what's in there, whatever you take in there with you.
Right.
And we've used that before to discuss criticisms, but it seems like people are taking a lot of weight with them, a lot of baggage with them into this film. And I think it is fair to say, wow, this doesn't feel like a film we waited 7 years for. Well, that's because it's not. It's clearly a placeholder film. It's this or nothing, because all those other projects that Kathy Kennedy was trying to get off the ground flopped. So they had to do, it was this or nothing. Would you rather have a year of no Star Wars or this standalone film that is essentially cobbled out of a bunch of TV scripts? The great thing about having it also based on the TV show is this doesn't necessarily suffer from the first draft syndrome that a lot of Star Wars recently has, because if they had to retool those scripts, obviously they gave everything another look over and another writing pass through. So at least we have that. Maybe, this thing is faring out so much better as a movie than it would have as a half-baked scripted TV show that was based on the first draft. So that's something, I guess, that could be looked at as a positive, but it's clearly a placeholder. It's clearly a film that was released by a studio that was going through extreme transition. Bob Iger stepping out, Kathy Kennedy stepping down. I mean, we're lucky we have this movie, quite honestly. I'm amazed it was even released, to be honest with you. We probably have to wait a couple more years for Star Wars.
In listening to Favreau over the last week, talking about this, he seems to have been just as surprised as anybody that his season 4 turned into a movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he was expecting that at all. And so to say, well, this is not the movie that we've been waiting 7 years for as Star Wars fans, it would be impossible for it to be that. It was never designed to be that. It came up too quickly, and it was like exactly as you would expect. These characters are hot. They're selling merchandise. Kids love them. let's get them on the big screen because you have been feckless in your ability to get anything on screen. So I'm going to tell you what you're going to put on the screen. And that's how bosses work sometimes. If you're not going to do the job, I'll tell you how to do the job. And that's what Iger did with Kathleen Kennedy in this movie.
Yeah, this movie is the true Project Hail Mary of 2026. Let's face it. It really is. It was a Hail Mary pass, and I think it works just fine as a placeholder. I really do. I think it's more effective than season 4 of The Mandalorian would have been. I think everything we see in this movie is bigger and better than anything we've seen on the streaming series thus far. Maybe it doesn't hit the emotional weight of moments from the first season and second season of Mandalorian, but there are just like great connectiveness between Din and Grogu on display throughout this film that I appreciate as a dad a great deal, and especially as a dad of kids who are much older now. I haven't dealt with little ones for a long time, and it's there's a certain warmth I get out of that. It was like almost magical. I felt that whole middle part in the forest. I've heard people saying, oh, that just went on for too long. It was perfect. I thought it was just such great timing to have that toward the end of the second act to sort of settle things down, let you catch your breath. Did anybody think that Din was going to die? I personally knew he'd be revived, of course, but it's just in the moment you start thinking to yourself, wow, Grogu's really on his own. And I think that it was beautifully shot too. All of the Nal Hutta stuff was awesome. I think Nal Hutta is the best live action planet we've seen in the films in this Disney era of Star Wars. I felt like they've really dropped the ball with building out exotic planets and environments. I thought just about everything presented in the sequel trilogy were the most boring of environments. Fan film level planets, let's go out to the forest preserve and have a saber duel. But now Hutta, wow. I mean, what an amazing planet with the huts there. And let's talk about the consequences of wiping out the huts. I don't see the huts.
It's a good question.
If you want to talk,
thank you very much, Ian, for the call. As we get into the huts, there's going to be a power vacuum here.
I think so.
With them out. And now what's going to be interesting, Jim, if Favreau and Filoni were specific in not grabbing onto some of the potential connective tissue with other things that are coming in the future of Star Wars and things from the Mandalorian past, that doesn't necessarily mean that future projects aren't going to pick up something from this movie. And I think you're smart in pointing out that the biggest potential for plot development in the future is the huts. Jabba his entire cartel is now seemingly up for grabs.
Yeah, if not completely wiped out. I mean, maybe everyone was inside that giant hollowed out tree mound thing that they were in, which I still haven't really figured out what the deal is with that. Was that all tree, or was it? I
don't know. I just thought it looked like, hut architecture. I mean, I thought it was very reminiscent architecturally of the Jabba's palace on Tatooine.
Yeah. It was all built into the,
but it was all built into nature. Yeah, slimy mud hole.
Exactly. We see that one hut slide out of the when they're in those catacombs. They're looking in those alcoves, and the huts are partying and just being vile and abusing themselves.
Something that occurred to me because Filoni has gone on record as saying the last thing he expected Favreau to pitch him was Rod of the Hutt. It was not something Filoni was expecting.
Yeah.
And so Rada coming back in, when we first meet Rada in the Clone Wars film, the Jedi are performing a favor for Jabba the Hutt because they need access to the the trade routes, or the what do they call them? Like their hyperspace lanes or something like that, because they're fighting the Clone War. And now, all these years later, you got the New Republic, and that was on behalf of the Old Republic. Now, on behalf of the New Republic, they also need to curry favor with the Hutts for whatever reason. I guess since they're establishing new government and all that, they're also looking for these warlords. I mean, that seems to be like Colonel Ward's biggest priority. Is
For sure.
She's hunting them down. She says in the film she's trying to prevent another war, so she's hearing, I'm sure, whispers of things that are to come. But it's just funny that Rada is bookended by the Old Republic and now the New Republic. He's kind of being used to, get in better on better terms with the Hutts, and of course now the Hutts are all but destroyed. We can't throw out the possibility that Rada may, pull a Michael Corleone in Godfather 3 and try to make the whole outfit legitimate.
I'm not the same man as my father. Do you know how hard it is to be your own man when you're the son of Jabba the Hutt? Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
I don't see that happening.
Maybe he's going to go legit or try to legitimize the.
I think Zeb is going to find him a uniform that fits, and those two are going to live happily ever after together.
As the not so odd couple, the two of them.
Yeah, it's going to really break boundaries.
All right. Well, speaking of breaking boundaries, we're going to break some right here with our next caller, Baby Belushi. Hey, Chris.
Yo,
how you doing, brother?
That Michael Corleone Rada the Hutt just killed me. Thanks. That was perfect. That was really funny. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that. Man. He's sort of got that California dude thing going on. That Rada, man. But
yeah. Yeah, they give a touch of the Lebowski,
Yeah. Very much a Hutt dude, for sure.
Now, Chris, you're a dad, and a Star Wars dad, in addition to, obviously being a fan of the legendary John Belushi. But what was the reaction there in the Sorrentino household? Have you had a chance as a family to go see it, or?
Yeah, we saw it Thursday night. My plan was originally see it Thursday night, Saturday morning, drive to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
That unfortunately didn't happen. I just got tripped up with work stuff. But
life.
So we saw it. We loved it. We absolutely, everybody loved it. My wife, we went with my friend Anthony, his family, and we all loved it. It's crazy because I've heard people use the term fun as, derogatory. Like, oh, you're calling a movie fun. That's why I pay to see a movie, to have fun. This movie was pure unadulterated fun. That's not a diss. People are what world do we live in now? Dude, when I fell in love with Star Wars, I didn't know what a freaking box office was. I didn't care. The movie's awesome. Stop with this.
Right.
Stop.
It was really when Titanic came out. When Titanic came out, that's when talking about box office success really came into vogue.
Mm-hmm.
It was when that flippin' Titanic movie came out. Because I remember then a few years later, everybody was looking at Attack of the Clones as being a massive underperformer. And I'm sitting there at a bar with Star Wars fans, guys I stood out in line with, dudes who camped for months at a time for a film release. And they're sitting there crying in their beer
I remember them days.
because Attack of the Clones isn't breaking box office records. And these guys are upset about it. I'm like, jeez, man.
Meanwhile,
I mean, we got to get our priorities straight as
Meanwhile,
fans.
sitting there
What do
wearing
we
the
care
t-shirt.
how rich? What do we care how rich these corporations are getting? Now, obviously, the more money a movie brings in, the more likelihood that that franchise will have continued success into the future. But I mean, other than having that
whole
boost of confidence, you know, and everybody wants to have their decisions justified, so they want more people then to tell them that it's okay to like the movie. I don't know if I can like it yet until the ticket sales reach 400 million. Then I will like this movie. Until that happens, I will not share an opinion at all. Okay, then don't.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got some people that they don't want to shoot the fair one. They never want a one-on-one fight. They want to gang up. They want to jump somebody. That, you know what I mean? Like they want 6-on-1. They don't want to do a one-on-one. But they want these people with them. They want to jump in with. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's like you seen before. You got a guy crying and he's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. You're like, but it works for you. You're wearing the shirt. How is that not a success? Like, I understand these things need to make money, but you know, I'm not happy with something that pleases everybody. I want something for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it doesn't need to please the whole world. Like, come on. If you like a movie, like it. Don't crap on it for everybody else. But but that's besides all that. That's not even the main reason why I called. I want to tell you guys because I just watched the after show on YouTube, and thank you guys for the love. I appreciate you guys.
We missed you, man.
But yeah, there actually was a Carl Weathers little Easter egg in the movie.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Yeah, you guys hear anything about this? So it's on one of the doors, in like that arena fight part, like the whole Rada the Hutt fight thing. There's a door in Arabic that reads just Weathers Apollo.
I got it right here.
It says
Chris.
Weathers.
Yes.
Weathers. It says Weathers what? Weathers
Apollo in Arabic.
Oh, Weathers Apollo. Oh, sort of a nod to Carl Weathers
like Apollo
playing
Creed.
Apollo Creed. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing. How do fans notice that?
There was a little nod.
How do fans notice that? That
read it like, it happened so quick. I would have never seen it. I happened to read it like 5 minutes after I watched the after show, and I was like, "Oh, there you go. There actually was something."
Yeah.
But, how fluent
I
is
don't
your
know how people
Arabic?
already.
How fluent is your Arabic? I really
man,
want to know.
I only know how to order more drinks in Arabic.
How do you say?
My Spanish.
How do you say we're on a mission from God in Arabic? Is there a certain way? Do you speak Arabic? Or here's a question: is Arabic? Can Arabic be spoken? Can it be spoken as a language?
I don't think it's something that's spoken. I think it's just
an
their
alphabet.
alphabet. It's their alphabet. Because you can have something written in Huttese, in the Huttese language, but you're using Arabic.
Right.
Like the dais that the twins are sitting on, the throne. There's stuff written in Arabic, but it's in Huttese. So
yeah. Oh well, that's kind of fun Easter egg stuff.
The Mortis thing?
No. Mortis. Oh my God. We're a million light years from Mortis. The Hutts, the twins. They're sitting on the throne. Oh my God! I thought we were going to be able to go get through one after show without someone bringing up Mortis, but even
you're the Mortis guy,
never
baby.
Yeah,
Good
man.
stuff.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to see it with the family and have a good time. And the box office stuff.
Yeah, we loved it.
You know, it's I struggle with it because, you know, it's sort of like in some ways It's our scorecard, and I think we think that if it hits a certain number, then it's going to turn some of these people who I think are just jaded former fans that we hear about, and they're making careers out of just crapping all over Star Wars all the time. And they're taking advantage.
There's a
the
big
grift. It's
there.
a big grift. Yeah. And they're taking advantage
There's
of
a lot of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't want to say they don't have a right to their opinion. Of course they do, and more power to them. But it's the constant drumbeat that's just like, okay, we get it. Why do you get any joy out of talking about Star Wars? I can't imagine getting on YouTube or getting on a podcast and just railing against something. Like I don't
get joy out of destroying anything. They kick around the store, like literally anything. You know what? And it proves to you, like, a lot of these so-called nerds and all these grifters or YouTube channels and stuff. If you're a nerd, you read comic books, you understand. There's a Spider-Man. It's not the Secret Wars. He freaking got to bring home a loaf of bread for Aunt May, and he fights the Scorpion, and it's a pain in the ass for everybody. Like, not everything is these monumental, giant issue moments.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, you understand how this works, right? Like, you're going nuts.
Yeah, I think Hollywood is more interested in entertaining general audiences and not Wikipedia editors, because those are the ones who are complaining the most about, I didn't learn anything, no. I didn't push the story forward. It's like, no, man, this is just lock and load for a good time, a fast-paced, awesome adventure with wicked killer spectacle and amazing character dynamics.
Let me,
Din and Grogu.
Jim, since you and Chris seem kind of simpatico on this, I'd like to get both of your thoughts. And Chris, I'll start with you since you're on the phone, because I am hearing this a lot about this struggle with it being, and I don't mean a standalone like Solo or Rogue One. Those were not standalones. Those were very, very tightly stitched into the fabric of the story. This is very much a standalone. But
spin-off.
So you can go episodic. There's comparisons with Bond, and by the way, we'll have clips coming in future shows about Filoni and Favreau both talking about Bond being a big influence on this movie. They were thinking about the James Bond formula. Or you could think of it in terms of Indiana Jones, because that's what those movies are. For those who are saying, but that's not what Star Wars is. Star Wars is serialized, and it builds on itself, and it refers back to itself, and it's part of this. So I'm just trying to maybe play devil's advocate a little bit for those that are saying that this thing should have pushed the narrative forward, because that's what they're used to Star Wars being.
Yeah,
well, I'll tell you this.
What they're used to of a precedent that was set half a century ago. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
Things evolve, things grow.
Right.
Half a century ago, we laid these laws down. You get a brawl, you get the big booming John Williams score, you get the Fox fanfare. 50 years ago. Come on. Like, it can change, it can grow. Star Wars is inside of all of us, and we all grow. So Star Wars, by that definition, grows as well. And people just, it's like an Arrested Development. They get stuck at this freaking one age where this one thing is cool and this one thing is not, and they can't get over it.
I don't get the reference. Because I never watched. I mean, I did watch Arrested Development, but I wasn't. Is sticking around for the later
mean like
seasons.
the literal
He means
definition.
the definition of what Arrested Development
Yeah,
is.
not the show.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought you was talking about the show.
Just a literal. No,
we live in a pop culture world, man.
Money in the banana stand, Jim.
we live in a pop culture world.
In the banana stand.
All right. Yeah. Well, Jim, what do you say? I like what Chris is saying, which is, hey, at some point, this thing cannot just continue. You know, it's 50 years. We can't always expect it to operate and function and tell stories the same way. That's what Chris is saying, but that's fair. I'm just trying to, I guess give some credence to the complaint that this is not what Star Wars has been traditionally. And yes, you can compare it to Wick, you can compare it to Bond, you can compare it to Indiana Jones, because that's what those movies have always been. We're accustomed to Bond getting a mission, Bond completing the mission, and then the next movie, it's like that one never happened. That was a big, up until the Craig era, that was really the formula for Bond. Yeah. But Bond changed with Craig. So is this Star Wars changing?
No, absolutely not. And Star Wars has been going through such an identity crisis since the Disney era began. Well, once they started with the streaming series, that's when the identity crisis really kicked in, because every few months you would get a reboot, essentially, of the entire franchise. You know, you're watching The Mandalorian for 2 seasons, and then you do Book of Boba Fett, and then we jump over to the Ahsoka show, and then and the Acolyte, and it's an Andor, and it's jumping all over the place. So nobody knows what Star Wars is anymore. But I think this is a step in the right direction, and I'll tell you why. It's taking something that they know works, and that's The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda together. They know that works. And they can continue with the series as a spin-off and roll it out every other year like a Bond film, and have The Mandalorian and kick-ass adventures with Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda never ages. And
I'm there every show.
It's a formula that builds upon itself and becomes something that people will expect to be that fun thrill ride that has a beginning, middle, and end, and it's nice and tightly contained. They say they're working on the next big steps for the saga itself, and something that's going to build upon itself year after year. And I think when they talk that way, they're talking about the Simon Kinberg trilogy. We've had so much Star Wars thrown at us over the last few years. What's wrong with having different, just having a main thread that runs through film after film, and that builds upon itself, and that's your big picture story. Then you have The Mandalorian dropping every 2 or 3 years with a fresh, tight, action-packed, condensed story that stands on its own. I think that's a step in the right direction. I really do. I mean, they tried to do these Star Wars story movies. That was not the step in the right direction. That was confusing to people. But I think if you continue with this kind of formula of having the big picture stories, the saga movies dropping every 2 years, and then you fill in those empty years with a Mandalorian movie. I mean, really, we could be talking about The Mandalorian 30 years from now, and it could have a back catalog that would rival 007 if they stick with the formula.
I hope. I hope. It's it's funny when me and my family just saw it, we were talking like along these same lines and saying how like you got like, we compared it to the Super Mario Brothers franchise, where you have those games, the Super Mario Brothers games, and there's one through line, Princess and the Bowser and all this stuff. But then you get these offshoots. This movie was a Luigi's Mansion. Cool. I like Luigi's Mansion. That has nothing to do with the Mario story. Cool. Give me Luigi's Mansion all day, every day. You know what I mean? Like, cool.
Give
me all the Star Wars. Hey, you know what? Give me all the Star Wars.
I want all the Star Wars. All right. Chris, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. We missed you in Cleveland, but we will definitely catch you on the next one. We got another movie next year, same time.
Absolutely.
So make sure you got all that work stuff taken care of in advance.
I love you guys.
Love you too, buddy. All right. Thank you. He yelled something at us. I don't know what he did there.
He's doing something wacky at the end. We missed it.
Oh, I should have guessed. I should have known. Okay, let's go and talk to... Wow, we got a really, really jammed switchboard, which is awesome. I love it. Let's talk to David from Boston. I think maybe he's there with some other barfs there. Which, by the way, I got to tell the barf crew. Is this David?
Yes, Chuck, guys. How you doing?
Doing okay. The barf crew was really a major source of fascination with my coworkers there at Playhouse Square. They really had lots of questions about the barf, and when I finally make it back to the day job, I've got a lot of explaining to do.
My son's had a lot of questions about the barf as well.
It was unfortunate.
Which one of you guys had to be carried up to his room?
Imperial entanglements. Oh no!
Who got carried up to his room? I heard one of you guys.
Well, David couldn't make it, but David, I'm sure you've heard the stories by now. Someone couldn't hang with the hang, and they got taken back to their room rather early.
I'm guessing it might have been Brian Egan, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, first and last name. We should have bleeped that.
Kind of early in the day.
Yeah. Where does Brian work, by the way? Can we have his employer? And can we have the email to the HR department, too?
Oh, wait. What happens in Cleveland stays in Cleveland.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
All right. We're
okay,
done with
David.
that.
Well, look, I want to make sure you have time to bring up all your points. So, and we missed you in Cleveland, by the way.
Oh yeah, I missed it too. But it sounds like everyone had a great time and seen some great pictures. And yeah, well, I finally got to see it today, and I'm actually enjoying this after show because when I got out, this movie hits you like a Mack truck. It is so fast paced. And when I got out, it was just trying to wrap my mind around it. I mean, you look at the pacing of the original Star Wars, The New Hope now compared to this, and it's like, wow, how things have changed in 40 years. And I'm curious is how the younger generation is going to latch on to this, because for what it was, I enjoyed it. I thought it looked great. I loved the score. I thought there was great elements between Mando and Grogu. And what is it about Grogu's species? Because they seem to like making huts like Yoda did, where he did his little shelter for him.
You know what,
tried to fit
David, that is the first
smash
time I've made that connection. Thank you. That's a good one. So now we know how the Jedi Master might have made his own hut.
Species.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I found interesting, I was talking with those Amani guards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Those are the ones that were swimming around in the pit with a giant, I just call it giant white snake or whatever, which if I was a little kid, that thing would scare the piss out of me. But it would. If I was 8 years old, and I mean that scene with Din, Mandalorian fighting it, that was pretty intense.
Who would have ever thought that a man of all characters, could be this thing from like a horror movie? And I think they showed up in the Clone Wars. Maybe it was just animatics. They were going to show up in like some of those Lost episodes. But they were absolutely terrifying. I agree.
Well, do you guys remember the movie Dreamscape?
I do
with
not.
Dennis Quaid. There was that David Kelly, the guy that does Warriors Come Out and Play. His character in the Dreamscape looks a lot like that creature. And I think, I don't know, Dreams. I'm wondering if that, but I think Tyler was saying that that we saw him in the background in Jabba's palace at one time.
Yes.
So maybe they were nicking from Star Wars back then, or maybe Filoni, because Kate Capshaw was in Dreamscape. So maybe they're throwing a little love to that with the production design.
Well,
if you pull it up on Google, Dreamscape, you might see the image. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I'm enjoying the show.
I'm looking at it right now, and that is it is very a man like. They both appear to be sort of Cobra human hybrids. Dreamscape came out in 1984. Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. So
All right.
I
So then
don't
one
think
nicked the
that
other.
I don't think that the similarities are coincidental. Snake Man was in, but I can't see who created the Snake Man monster for the movie Dreamscape. If it's ILM, then somebody should tell George.
Yeah, I'm
because
ripping me off.
very similar. That's a good call. That's definitely a good call, and I don't think that similarity is coincidental. I think there might be a little.
Yeah, I never thought about the Amani, having those like cobra like hoods. I always just that was really, really cool. And that's a good point. Jim, that kind of backs up what you were saying at the beginning of the show about how it expands on the things that are already there, which is kind of cool in a way. Like you said, they throw in the mini rigs and stuff that's been a part of Star Wars for a while, but now you see it in a whole new light. I think the Amani were a really good example of that.
Yeah, super effective. By the way,
look at those things. They're nightmare fuel.
Yeah, they are for sure.
So the film Dreamscape, the special effects studio VCE were the ones who were hired to handle the optical illusion of the Snake Man from Dreamscape. I'm very curious about this movie now. It seems sort of like an Indiana Jones ripoff.
No, not at all. It's maybe, if anything, maybe like Scanners, something like that. But it's actually a pretty unique film. It was pretty entertaining. I think you guys might enjoy it. But I when I saw that today, it reminded me of that. I'm like, those guys, I wouldn't want to be in the pit with one of those things.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
it was really cool and effective.
And where do you think it's next? Are we going to see more of Mando and Grogu? Will this move the needle enough, or is it going to be put on ice for a while?
I think it's really, really hard to say, because what we don't know is there's new leadership at Lucasfilm, there's new leadership at Disney. If this was the same leadership, if we were talking about Iger's Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm, I would say that they tend to always learn. I believe that they learned the wrong lessons from their work together on Star Wars, and I would say that this could maybe be not such a happy ending for the future of Mando and Grogu. But I don't know how this Damaro and Filoni and the new regime, how they're going to look at it, if it's all going to be all about box office, or if they're going to be looking more long-term, if they're going to be looking at audience development, engagement. Like Jim was saying, are the T-shirts going to be flying off the shelves? Are you going to start to see younger kids wearing Grogu T-shirts and not just the moms? Are the kids going to be wearing it too? I hope they're looking at some of those metrics. And if they are, and those metrics are positive, then I think, we'll see more of it. But it's really hard to say.
Yeah, and also it depends on Jon Favreau too. Does he have any more ideas? It's not like the guy just has an endless inspiration to create Mandalorian and Grogu stories for the rest of his life. But I predict, yes, these characters will go on to live and fight another day. And this is not the last we're hearing of the Mandalorian. This is not a sign off in any way, shape, or form. The Mandalorian will return.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call, David. We do have there are two lines open, but everything else is jam-packed. So we're going to talk now to Philip from Minnesota, also Patreon VIP. Philip, thanks for waiting. Appreciate it.
Oh, man. Chut, and hey. How's it going, guys? I just really enjoyed, following up Chris Sorrentino, I'd see it kind of silly coming on and saying I was digging the Hut stuff. That's maybe a bad way of phrasing that, but all the hut action. You were describing the planet Nal Hutta being one of the best realized new locales of the Disney era, and I totally agree. Just all the underworld, the slimy, the nature, the teeming with wildlife. I don't know. The huts seem to have a strong ecological bent to them. I don't know if that's despite all their obvious flaws, they tend to preserve a planet in fine nick. Although I think, according to a lot of previous lore, they keep Nal Hutta in sort of a sanctuary state because they've corrupted, contaminated their previous home world, planet Varl or something like that. And then Nar Shaddaa is the scuzzy moon that orbits Nal Hutta. And I've always wanted to see that realized.
Here's my theory about Nal Hutta a little bit is that back in the 50s, there were a couple of places where the American mob used to go hang out, and it didn't matter whether you were from rival crime families. If you were in Palm Springs in the 1950s, or if you were in Cuba. Those were a couple of places where you could go as a mobster and you could relax and you could go on vacation, and you kind of put all of the other stuff sort of behind you, the feuding and everything. And then, of course, once you got back home, you were shooting each other and, trying to undermine each other and all that stuff. I kind of look at Nal Hutta as sort of like that. I think they're trying to preserve the what they love about their natural habitat and all of that. And, maybe they use some of these other systems like Tatooine. You mentioned the moon, now Shadar or whatever. Maybe that's where they do the dirty work. But, it's all spas and, rolling around in the mud and the slime with one another. That's what's going on Nal Hutta. I think they're trying to preserve it a bit.
I love that. I mean, out of all the Star Wars planets, I want to visit there.
Mac is okay. So if we ever do add that question to the Yoda questionnaire, what planet would you most like to visit in the Star Wars galaxy? Mac's saying Nal Hutta.
I want to party with those huts.
Yeah.
I just want to roll around in the mud with them, have a good old time. How about the times when Rada was dueling in that gladiator arena with a human, and he just flop on top of the guy and just mash him. He did the same
thing. Of King Kong Bundy back in the 80s. Bundy would do the big splash. Yeah.
He did the same thing to the Mando, but Mando has that Beskar armor, so Rada just sort of rolled off of him. Other hut observations I made today on my third screening was I noticed when the dragon snake was coming up on the two huts, the twins, when they were in the water toward the end. One twin pushes the other one in front.
Really?
So the snake that's the first one that the snake takes him. You see him kind of slurp it up.
Yeah.
And then that hut backs up. I don't know their names. I keep forgetting, and I can't identify them, so it doesn't even matter if I know their names. But then the other dragon snake comes down and just smashes onto that other hut. But when it slurped up that one. And so he pushed the twin in front to buy him, a couple extra seconds of life. And then as the snake is submerging, you see the two lumps of hut inside the snake body. Yeah. I love that. That's just
I love that too. Great. And by the way, the names are Garson and Graka. Those are the names. Garson and Graka. No, I love that too, Jim. And I mean, seeing Return of the Jedi as a kid and seeing Jabba torture poor Ula and Luke with the Rancor. And even feeling bad for the Gamorrean that gets eaten, as he's squealing and all that. It's really cool after, almost 50 years to see not just one, but two huts get taken out by their creature that they have under, with the trapdoor and all that, which is such a hut thing to do. Of course, they all have to have trapdoors with monsters underneath.
Yeah, I'm getting mine installed this weekend. Seriously, I'll show it to you next time you come over. I won't tell you I'm going to show it to you, but you'll see it.
Hey, we got Trenton calling in from Kansas. Apparently, Trenton was actually at the premiere in L.A. Hey, Trenton.
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
Hello there.
Doing good.
Great.
You.
So tell us about the premiere.
You got me?
Yeah, tell us about the premiere.
Yeah, so I went down there through the Mandalorian Works Costume Club. They invited, I think, 45 of us and a couple from other costume clubs. And the lucky ones, got to do a tour. I believe Favreau's personal collection, the one that was in the Adam Savage videos. I had originally submitted for that, and they let many of us who submitted for that go and do the premiere in costume, which I'm told is pretty rare.
Wow, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was super cool.
But was it uncomfortable to sit there at watching the movie in costume? I hope you got to change before the movie rolled.
We did the red carpet. We did. Yeah, they let us change at the El Capitan.
Okay, good.
There was only so many spaces for that, though. So the people who got to go to the Chinese theater had to stay in costume the entire time if they wanted to see it. If they wanted to get in costume.
That's brutal.
I think like 6 people did that.
Now, did you get to meet or talk to any of the?
6 hours.
Did you get to meet or talk to anybody like a Jon Favreau or a Dave Filoni?
I didn't get to talk to them, but I think I got a good number of photos just out of luck of where I got placed. I got the old Filoni autograph. Instead of a Plo Kool, though, he drew a little Mando helmet.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so Dave's
he was
changed his shtick.
Yeah.
He was
also, I think, the only one there with a marker.
He used to always draw a clone trooper back in the day. Remember that?
A clone trooper helmet. Yeah.
So he's doing Mando helmets. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, Mando helmet. So Trenton, tell us about the energy in the theater as you were watching it. You know, obviously it's a premiere, so there's going to be, people with a lot of stake and everything. But there's also, a lot of people from the general public as well. Were people cheering and laughing and
it was
excited in the right spots?
It seemed like a good mix of like people who just love Star Wars, some cast and crew, where you could kind of tell people would like scream in the credits for weird names that you wouldn't expect.
Yes. They do that at those premieres.
I think I mentioned this to Tyler, but the coolest thing for me was in the Grogu sequence at the end. When Mando comes out and says the young old protect the young protect the old. This is the way. You can kind of hear a whisper of "This is the ways" across the theater as people echo it.
Yes, this is the way. This is the way.
I love that.
The way this is.
I think that was the most special. Just because I don't know if it would happen if you didn't have a bunch of Mando mercs who have been Pavloved into saying it.
Right. Of course. Right. Yes. That's
they beat that into you, don't they? This is the way thing. You better be on board with that, or you're.
You know what? Since we've got a Mando merc here, here's a question that I believe I brought this up at the after show. I think we kind of glossed over it. I believed that by the end of season 3, that the coming together of the two Mandalorian factions made it such that the whole stigma around removing your helmet was gone. I thought that was something that they moved beyond when they sort of merged. That's not the case. They just decided to live with their differences.
Yes, exactly. They decided to live with their differences. You have your fundamental Mandalorians, and then you have your progressive Mandalorians, I guess. But I mean, to reclaim their planet, they had to come beyond those differences and fight together. And I'm glad there was none of that weighing down this movie.
Yeah,
talking about going back to Mandalore.
I was
the
glad we got them.
All of that.
Yeah, I was glad we got more Mandalorian culture, but it focused like through the lens of Grogu rather than like a bunch of subplots that didn't have to do with the two.
So Din Djarin still has this thing where he can't show his face, right? Yes. Or he has to kill whoever it is that forcibly removes his helmet. Now, if he chooses to remove his helmet, like he did in the case of with Grogu, then obviously that's a different story. He doesn't have to kill Grogu, but okay. All right. Well, I think I'm up to speed now. Thanks, Trenton. That's cool. I love that you got that opportunity. That is awesome. And thanks for sharing it with us.
By the time the Mando had revealed his face to Grogu, he had already been soiled as a Mandalorian by, remember, he had to remove his helmet to access that Imperial computer.
That's right. With Bill Burr.
And so by the time he's saying goodbye to Grogu, he's just like, oh, what the hell? I mean, it's
might as well burn it to hell forever.
Toothpaste is already out of the tube. I'll just show the kid my face again,
Right.
And, just to bond with him or whatever. But yeah, that was the only time Grogu has seen Mando's face. He did not see Mando helmetless in this movie. The only ones who did were the Hutts, the Amana Men, and the White Snake. By the time Grogu had shown up with the Anzellans, Din had replaced his helmet. So thank God, because I didn't want to see the Anzellans get massacred, I'm sorry, Grogu. I know they're your friends, but they saw me with my bucket off. I must behead them one at a time.
All right, let's go to, hey, we've got another insider here. This is someone that can maybe give us a little inside dope on the whole Grogu wafers, which I got to pick up a box because I'm a huge fan of Nilla wafers. It's one of my favorite cookies in the world. So I need the Grogu wafers, but this is a Patreon member and first-time caller, Dom from New Jersey. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Good evening.
Hello there.
Thank you for having me on, and I'm very excited to talk about Grogu Nilla Nummies and getting to go to the premiere and everything.
All right, so you got to go to the premiere as well. All right, and that was because of working there for was it Nabisco? Who is it that makes the Nilla wafers at Nabisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Mondelez International owns Nabisco, who then owns Nilla.
Love it.
Yeah, we're based here in New Jersey. And yeah, so I've been working on the project for like over a year.
Wow.
As the project manager.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of in the supply chain part of the process. Marketing, as you know, Jason, brings the projects to us, and then we kind of figure out how to make it, right?
Yeah.
So I've been working on it for over a year, and then I got the call from marketing that we were invited to attend the red carpet and hand out Nilla wafers, on the red carpet. So that was shocking to me as obviously a huge fan.
Sure. So you were going to be able to see the movie after you passed out all the cookies, I hope, right? Like once you passed out all your cookies, then you could sit in the theater and watch it? Or were they like, no, just move along? Or did you have to keep passing them around after the movie started?
Some of us got to, and some of us did not. I did not get to see the film at the Chinese theater.
No,
I know.
So after passing the cookies, you should have tossed your cookies right there on the red carpet just out of protest. That's what I would have done. It's the best protest in the world is just the barf. Then they know you mean business.
No, but that's really cool. So what working on a project like this, big profile there with your company, and obviously you get to combine your day job with your passion, and you love Star Wars. I mean, that must have been a real thrill. Were you seeing anything? Were you privy to any photos from the movie or anything like that as you were working on this project over the last year?
No, I was not. I mean, the only thing I got to see was the artwork of the box, and that this was honestly one of those collaborations with Disney that they don't do often, from what I've heard from our marketing folks. With Grogu on the box, his name is in the product, and then in a way, the product is in the film, right? Like
Yeah.
the blue cookie is what he, has been eating. And the only insider info I've gotten is actually the story of how the, product came to be was the prop master on the film was actually gluing little wafer cookies together to make them look like the macaroons, right? That it looks like on the screen. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I see Mac going back here. Does Mac have a box of these Nilla Nummies? Wait a minute. He's digging. He's got that grin on his face like, oh, wait, you just reminded me of something. So he's digging through there. But so the prop master has got the was doing that. So then how did you all get involved? So you're saying that the prop master was actually using Nilla wafers?
That's what I heard
Wow.
from someone at Disney, actually, while I was on the red carpet. Yeah.
That's
and then
cool.
he was spray painting, it blue.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Which is how you guys obviously make the Grogu Nilla Nummies. You spray paint them blue in the factory there. And so you go to the premiere now. Did you have a chance to see anybody, any Lucasfilm people or there it is, Jimmy Max, right on cue. Grogu, what is it? Something Nummies, Grogu, Nilla Nummies. Look at that. Okay. Yep. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, Grogu on the box. I like that there's a nice vertical and a horizontal configuration of the box.
Yeah, that's like a lot of our listeners on Saturday night too, horizontal and vertical. It just depended on what time of night it was.
All right. Oh, these are great. So when you were at the premiere, did you get a chance to rub elbows? Did you get a chance to feed Dave Filoni any Nilla Nummies? Those are really good.
So I did. We had a little cart right on the red carpet. After the pictures and interviews and everything, we were right outside of that, right in front of the Chinese theater. Right before they went into the movie, they stopped for some Nillas. So,
that's awesome.
All the main cast, they kept pretty away from us. Like they just shuffled them right over to the theater.
Yeah.
But I did get to meet Christopher Lloyd, which was
Hey, how cool is that? Wow. You know what?
Yeah.
Out of all those, he'd be in my top that I'd like to meet. He's a cool dude.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah.
Pass me some of those
really
Nilla
cool.
wafers. And we'll go back to the future, Marty.
Yeah.
Who else did you get to see?
I saw Filoni and Favreau, Pedro, Sigourney, Brennan Wayne, Lateef. I saw all of them get their big cast picture
right
in front of the theater. And I also got to see, I didn't meet him, but I saw Grogu himself. You know how he walked the red carpet?
Yeah.
He shuffled right past us.
How cool was that?
So when he shuffled past you,
That was
it
really,
similar
really cool.
to how he walks in the movie, or was that CGI? Because I was trying to figure that out. There are a few times we see Grogu actually walking. What do you think?
He walked just like that. I mean, they had a team of
that
about
rapid fire
10 people with remote controls.
Oh yeah. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to him. Just look at Grogu,
Right.
and he's the real deal.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
And
someone was picking him up and shuffling him and back and forth, and then the crowd was following with the controllers and the headsets. Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, what did you think of the movie? I mean, you've been prepping for this at the day job for a year, and then you get to go to the premiere, and I mean, they didn't let you watch it, or did they let you watch it? Was it our last call that they didn't allow?
No, I didn't see it there. I saw it last weekend on Friday with everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And what'd you think?
Yep. I loved it. I went in with, pretty low expectations of any major, world-changing things happening. All the early reviews just said, hey, this is a fun adventure. And I was like, that sounds like a good time. And I really loved it. I thought the action scenes were great. And the scene that I just keep thinking about is the scene, with just Grogu while Mando's incapacitated and it's just Grogu on a little adventure.
Yeah.
That scene is what keeps replaying in my head the most. So I think that might be my favorite scene after watch number 1. But I'm going to go back this weekend and get another watch in.
Awesome. Dom, thanks for sharing that. What a great story. I mean, going to the premiere, being a part of a, consumer product tie-in and all of that. That's fantastic. Jimmy Mack there with his box of Nilla nut. I'm hitting the store tomorrow on my way into work. Because I love the Nilla wafers. It's one of my all-time favorites. Thanks again, Dom. Appreciate it. Great story. Let's go. We still got a full switchboard. You guys are the best. We do have 3 lines open, so if you've been, it looks like we've got some people trying to call right now. So
I've been interested in something going on in the chat.
What's that?
I've just noticed there's been some discussion about the snow planet at the beginning of the film.
Yes.
Hoth or not Hoth? Let's play the new game show. Hoth or not Hoth? Presented by Rebel Force Radio.
I say no
Jason,
Hoth.
You say no Hoth.
Hoth. No.
I agree. I also say no Hoth because that Imperial warlord was shaking down these civic leaders from local townships.
Right.
Last I recall, the Hoth system was known to be uninhabited. And I don't think that just because there was once a rebel base there, that was good for tourism, So I don't believe that opening snow planet was Hoth. So my vote is no Hoth. Hoth or no Hoth. It's the newest sensation sweeping the nation. Hoth or no Hoth. All you need to do to play is go see The Mandalorian and Grogu, and then you can determine for yourself Hoth or no Hoth. And let's talk about the guy with the penis nose. As long as we're talking about the snow planet,
all
not
right.
Hoth.
Right.
Let's talk about penis nose.
Boy, this has really gone off the cliff. We had Tanya on the chat talking about her poo turning blue from the blue milk, and we had Jeff Holland talking about the poo turning blue from the Nilla nummies. And
well, I got plans. I got plans now. I didn't know this was possible. I'm going to work on that as soon as we sign off. Wash it down with one of those Grogu shakes from Burger King.
Just wait till you see that photo gallery in the Patreon. Yeah.
Ooh, green. So, so not Hoth, but so penis nose. He complained to that warlord that their profit margins were.
Hold on a second. You're the second person that I've heard say this about penis. I don't know what yours looks like, pal, but
Well, it would if it was your nose.
Okay, all right. That's the last time I'm going to interrupt you. Yes, let's talk about,
So
penis nose.
I was kind of led to believe that penis nose was the same species as Dr. Evazan.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So maybe they're on whatever planet he's from, Evazan. But that warlord wasn't going to tolerate that guy. He wasn't suffering fools. He wasn't going to listen to any lip from penis nose, so he shot him right in the chest.
I would have loved it if he'd just called him. Now look here, penis nose.
Long live the Empire! Death to penis nose! So, Hoth or no Hoth, that's the game. And
That's the game.
You never know where the conversation will go once we start playing Hoth or no Hoth. Boom.
All right, let's talk to Clark. Clark is calling in from North Carolina and has some thoughts about the movie. Clark, thanks for waiting.
Hey. Yeah, of course. My question was, if we assume George Lucas has seen this movie, what do you think he was most excited to see or most impressed by in the film?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I was honestly thinking about that myself just recently. And I was wondering, George, nobody's trotting him out to discuss this film at all. And if he does in the interviews, I'm sure that'll be the first thing people ask him. But as we know, George has always been sort of reclusive and he doesn't grant interviews very often. But I would love to know what he thought of this movie. Now, what do I think he would have thought was the standout part of it? He obviously would have complained there was nothing new. We know that that's George's hang up with all of these newer Star Wars movies, that he's not seeing anything new. But I think he may have appreciated some of the technological achievements, like the great things that we were seeing. You know, we're living in an era now where AI is everywhere. We're seeing AI videos all the time. But here we're being presented with a Star Wars film in 2026 that leaned on things like real life puppetry, stop motion animation from Phil Tippett. And I mean, if you stuck around to look at the credits, about 1 million people working on the computer graphics for this thing. But these are people, you know, creating these things by hand, using their own skills and abilities and knowledge and talent to create incredible visuals on screen. And I think George Lucas would have been very appreciative of that. And I certainly hope no AI was used in the production of this film. I don't see it. So I think it's something that we should really put on a pedestal and say, look at the Mandalorian and Grogu. Look what humans can still do in Hollywood. And they can do it even in the old school kind of ways. Even the Razor Crest itself was a practical model that was shot and scanned. And I think they even used some of the old skills with the Dijkstraflex type of technology from back in the 70s to shoot some Razor Crest stuff. So I think that's the type of stuff George would have appreciated. Probably stuff more on a technical level than an actual storytelling level.
I'm going to go the other way slightly and just say I'm reminded by, you know, George, one of George's famous lines was "Dare to be cute." Right? Dare to be cute. And I think that Grogu does that, and I also think the Anzellans did it, and I think the Anzellans did it to great success in this movie. I think that whole bit with them and Grogu was a major standout moment for the movie. I thought that they didn't come off as... I don't think they took anything away from the movie. They only added to the movie. And I think you'd be hard pressed. You could take the most stodgy, you know, curmudgeon-y type fan, quote unquote fan. And I don't know how you cannot enjoy when those little guys are on screen and the bit with the little ship and everything. To me, I think that would be one of the things that George would have appreciated. Dare to be cute. They did, and it was successful.
I was getting shades of Jawa a little bit from them in this film. Just, you know, how they're always just like babbling and, you know, moving on. They always have something to work on.
You know, instead of these little guys with this giant sand crawler, I think it was the first time we ever saw like for diminutive characters in Star Wars, like a scaled ship. It was hilarious.
Right. And their speeder when they were pulling up to Din's place on Navarro.
Yeah.
That sound effect sure sounded similar to George Jetson's ride from the Jetsons. It sounded very similar. That sort of bubbling, it's almost a sort of bubbling mechanical sound.
Yeah, something like that.
You got more
on it.
skills and talents than anybody I know. Hey, you know, people love hearing you talk like Rada the Hutt. So could we take a brief Rada break and just hear what's on Rada's mind right now?
What is on Rada's mind?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Like where the character would be right now.
I want you to channel Rada and whatever inspiration you get from his vibes.
Wow, you're really putting me on the spot, aren't you?
I am. We did not have Rada the Hutt break in our show notes.
Well, let's wrap up with Clark from North Carolina, then we'll see if Rada can show up. But Clark, what about you? What say you about what George would have liked most about this movie, or at all?
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Jason, on this. I thought that the movie really took some George-like chances with so many non-dialogue sequences, and it made me think about some of those more experimental, out there Clone Wars arcs, like when the droids were on that weird planet with all the little creatures, or the arc that was just the astromechs and Meber Gascon. I feel like this movie was weird in ways that George would have approved of, and honestly, I thought were kind of bold for a modern Star Wars movie. It got really. There were whole sequences where there was not a human face in sight, you know, and I thought that was pretty out there for modern Star Wars.
Embrace the weird.
My son Dylan was kind of criticizing the film for lack of human element. And I see where he's coming from, because I cited a conversation I had once with somebody who said Ahsoka is the face of the future for Star Wars. And I kind of pushed back on that, thinking, well, you know, she's a orange alien girl. It doesn't really convey. You don't want to build the future of the franchise around anybody but a core of human characters whose faces you can see and whose emotions get conveyed through their acting, their physical acting. I think that's really important, that Star Wars needs that. We need to reestablish a big three. The sequels tried doing it. I don't know if they're going to stick that landing at all. It looks like that all might be completely rebooted with the Simon Kinberg trilogy, if that is indeed the direction Star Wars is going into next. Or we might see emerging characters in Starfighter that, a guy like Flynn Gray at his age, you could put him into Star Wars for the next 10 to 20 years. So there's potential in some of these upcoming stories to establish the heroes of the future, but we just haven't gotten there yet. So we're dealing with faceless characters right now in Mandalorian, and Grogu, he conveys a lot of emotion and everything, but again, where's that human element? I think that's really important for Star Wars to succeed in the future as far as the saga films go.
Thanks, Clark. Appreciate the call very much. When you think about Rada, I just imagine him going into a Delphi base there on his first day as he's joined, the ranks. And he has this chip on his shoulder, right? Because he's Jabba's son. So he's like, you think I don't know what people say when I slither into a room? Oh, yeah, look. That's Jabba's kid. That's all I am. My father ruled with fear and chains, rancors, feeding people to monsters. Just because somebody looked at him funny. Everybody acts like the Hutts are born evil. Like cruelty is some family thing. But I hated that palace. The smell, the screaming, the endless party with those awful Max Rebo covers. Something like that. How about that?
That was very interesting monologue right there. Very interesting monologue. All right, who else do we got on the switchboard?
Hey, you put me on the spot. You asked for it. What is this, improv class?
Yeah, I want improv. I want off the cuff. I want you to truly channel the spirit and vibe of Rada. But Rada Spicoli.
I can't just make it happen. I can't make that magic happen.
Where did that monologue come from? Just out of curiosity.
Mando Pirate. You're on the line.
Mando Pirate. Oh,
yeah.
Hello, Mando Pirate.
Hey, boys. I was mostly calling because I wanted to talk to see what you guys thought about them not addressing Grief Karga in the movie, or IG-11, or why Mando didn't spend a little more time on Navarro.
Well, I'll tell you, that's really interesting because I saw a photo today floating around via social media that was supposed to be a behind the scenes shot from The Mandalorian and Grogu. And they had like some sort of life-size Rod of the Hutt standee, I should say. And then the Mandalorian was standing to the right of him, and to the left of him was IG-11, or is it IG-12 now? I can't keep track, but the same, droid
It's
with
either
the
one of
red.
those two, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it appeared that the shot was on Navarro. So part of me feels like the picture was a phony AI creation. But then I seem to recall that wasn't there some buzz that the IG droid was going to be in this movie? Didn't Hasbro release an IG action figure recently?
They did, but it was not for this movie. It was just for The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
So it had Mandalorian branding on it, but not Mandalorian and Grogu branding.
Okay. All right. So I think the photo I saw was a phony AI thing.
Yeah.
But,
I really thought that they could have done something better than the Orabesh sign over top of the, where the monsters were escaping for Carl Weathers. I would have liked to have seen some mention of Grief Karga. Even, like I'm thinking about in the indie movie, was it Crystal Skull, when he comes in, he sits down at his desk, and there's the photo of Henry, and there's the photo of Marcus there. Just a little something, like it would have been nice. Maybe Sigourney Weaver could have said, we heard about heard about Grief Karga. We're sorry for your loss. I know how important he was to you, or something like that.
Or create some threat. Because Grief Karga is gone, Navarro is being threatened by the Hutts or threatened by the Imperial warlord. Something to give us a reason to really dislike these villains. Because that's what happens in this film. We don't really get reasons to dislike the villains outside of which side of the aisle they're standing on. Oh, they're Hutts. So naturally, we must dislike them because the Hutts have always been villainous. Oh, he's a
You
former
would say
Imperial.
that.
And then we have the Imperial. He doesn't really, what does he do that's so bad? Sure, he gasses Din and puts Grogu into a cage, but that's after, Din was asking for it. He tried to bust Rada out of the jail.
Right, he
And
tried
Rada
to take
blew the
something that
whistle on him.
belonged to him.
Yeah, so it's not
He's a
like
thief.
we need a reason to hate the villains. You have to have the villains doing villainous stuff for us as audience members to, A, give a crap about them, and 2, really hate them. So we need to feel that they're threatening, and we need to know they're bad guys. We need to see them being bad guys. We can't just judge them based on their affiliations. That's not fun, and that's not good storytelling. And unfortunately, The Mandalorian and Grogu lack severely that quality of establishing the villains. They don't do that. They just assume we know they're bad guys, quote, bad guys. So
Right, yeah.
that's good enough for the storytellers. It's not good enough for me. You got to have some backbone to these stories.
Agreed. Thanks a lot, Mando. Appreciate it. All right, let's. We got time for a couple more here. Let's go with our buddy Eric from Phoenix. He's been waiting a long time. Eric, good seeing you this week.
Yeah, hey guys, it was great seeing you, and I just wanted to, first of all, just say, hey, thank you for the event in Cleveland. It was a ton of fun, and I only got to talk to you two guys for maybe 45 seconds the whole weekend, and that's okay, because I got to talk to dozens of other amazing people, some who I've never met before, some who I've met a couple times, and some people that I'm really good friends with. So just thank you for the effort and the time, the logistics, everything that it takes to do something like that. It was awesome. It was hands down a great thing to do. And if anybody listening, if you ever get a chance to go to an our event, do it. You won't regret it. You will meet some of the absolute nicest people. that you've ever met in your entire life, and you all have something in common, which is the love of Star Wars and RFR. So first of all, I just want to say thanks, guys, for that.
Hey, thank you. And it would be nothing if you guys didn't come out for it. I was snickering because I just saw the picture of Jimmy Mack here with the Phantom of the Opera mask. We were trying to keep things in the spirit of the venue that we were in. But, and this is a great picture of the swag. Everybody was just so insanely generous, as they always are, with each other, with us. And, I'm on a future episode, we'll go through, we'll do swag call and show off some of the amazing gifts that you guys brought us. Great,
our friends
great
from
stuff.
the Forest Moon Festival sent a bunch of stickers and patches and things like that. And I just want to remind everyone that the Forest Moon Festival is this weekend out in Humboldt and Del Norte counties. Go to forestmoonfestival.org for all the information and tell them RFR sent you. Go out to the event, meet Kyle Newman, Kevin Thompson, the Ewok, and Matt Miknovitz, the head writer for Maul, Shadow Lord, among other great Star Wars animated shows. So that's this weekend only in Humboldt and Del Norte counties, forestmoonfestival.org, forestmoonfestival.org.
And there is a great photo gallery there over on Patreon with great photos of everything that went on there.
And on our website.
Yes.
On the rfr.com or rebelforceradio.com.
Rebel Force
What have you. Yeah.
So what else you got for us here, Eric?
Yeah, so I got one other quick thing, and then I got 2 Mando points. The other thing I want to do is just because I don't know when the next live show will happen in 2026 or whether I'll be able to be there. I just want to congratulate you guys on 20 years of podcasting. Doing something for 20 years is to be commended. It doesn't matter what that is in life. And I just want to publicly commend you guys for the 20th year of podcasting together. I know I'm a little early, a couple months early, but you guys have built something amazing here. You do a very professional job on your podcasting. You put out a ton of content. It's both insightful and fun. You don't take yourselves too seriously. And the most important thing is you've built this amazing community. None of that would have ever happened if it wasn't for you two guys that are on this call right now. And I just want to publicly thank you, congratulate you on the 20 years. And I'm looking forward to 20 more years.
You and me both. Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
great,
that.
Man. You're the best, Eric. And I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next time on RFR Q&A. On Patreon.
Great.
Patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio.
Best $2 plus tax you'll ever spend.
Yeah.
Two things on Mando. Number one, there was an observation I had, and maybe you guys caught this the first time you saw it. We saw it in IMAX yesterday, the old school 3-story IMAX. I will tell you, just an amazing visual and sound experience. It was fantastic. The crowd was great. Totally into it. But
how cool was that
after
intro,
Mando,
too? There was a special IMAX Mandalorian intro that featured the armorer's smelting rig, that she has. And so they counted down before the movie would start. It almost looked like something out of Sesame Street, but it was all Mandalorian. And you would see these numbers, 10, 9, 8. And it would be like elements from the armorer as she's crafting Mandalorian weaponry, and they would have numbers on that, and that's how they counted down. And then they showed the Razor Crest. It was really a lot of fun. Maybe somebody shot some video of that and can post it up on YouTube, or if I go back to the IMAX theater, I'll very low key shoot a video of that. I'll post it and share it with you guys. So go on, Eric,
that's a
please
great point,
continue.
Jim. And it's been no. Well, you make a great point. I love that, and it's been so long since I've seen an IMAX movie. I forgot about the intro. So when that happened, that was extra special viewing because, of course, we didn't get that with the XD, which was a great experience. But you're right; it was a ton of fun because they always do that kind of intro thing to kind of sell the sound before the movie, and that was a ton of fun. But Yeah, my question is when Mando recovers from his envenomation, Chris Turtle Wars Hagen clarified this after seeing the movie. They called it poison, but you can't be poisoned unless you ingest it. You get bit by something, you're envenomated. So the movie got it wrong. Maybe in the Star Wars universe it works, but Chris, our resident biologist, clarified that.
That's a good
but
one.
When Mando recovered, Grogu comes out of his little awesome hut he built, and you see Mando stand up, and he puts his blaster pistol back in his holster. And in my head, I'm like, did I miss it? When did he get that back? Because this happens after he had been, captured by Embo, and then has obviously escaped the huts. And he's fighting those guys with the tree log, not with his blaster pistol. So I just wondered if anybody else caught that or could point me in the right direction where I maybe missed where he got that back. It was just something I noticed yesterday. So that's one thing I had from The Mandalorian. And then I had a second thing too.
So this was a pistol, not that full-on rifle, right?
Yeah. Right. It was his regular Mando pistol. When he stands up, he's kind of got his back turned. And when he's turning towards Grogu, you see him put the pistol back in his holster.
I remember that. But I don't recall, did Embo take it from him or what happened there? Maybe he had one stashed somewhere and Embo didn't find it?
Yeah, my head canon, I can come up with something, but it's just something I noticed I didn't see the first time. And I assumed he didn't have anything with him because when he's first attacking that first staff, he does the old school trick where you just come from behind a tree and whack the guy off the staff with a tree branch. He didn't shoot him. He didn't use a pistol until after he got the first one from one of those battle droids.
Ooh.
So that's kind of how I connect it. Once again, not a big deal, not a complaint, just something I noticed. So it made me think there was maybe something they filmed that got cut out where you didn't get to see how he got his weapons back. Or
maybe he carries a backup blaster, but it's like little pieces on his belt and he has to assemble it. And maybe that's what he was doing when
like
Grogu
the golden
came.
gun.
Yeah, kind of like that.
One part's a pen, the other's a cigarette case. They'll never see that coming.
Yeah. That's what happened. That's obviously what happened. I don't know how you didn't catch that. So
you got
obvious.
the rabbit's foot keychain with the bullets hidden in it, like that one movie, In the Line of Fire.
Right.
Oh my God, that's right.
Under the table. So yeah. So there you go. There's
You
my
were
one
JFK's
thing.
favorite.
And then my second thing is, yeah. And then the second thing is more just a question about the marketing. And, I think it's easy hindsight to be critical of the marketing, right? We can all do that, but there's a dollar, there's a cost, right? You got to weigh how much you're going to get out of the marketing. But I actually thought of this talking to my mom last night, just telling her about the weekend, telling her about the movie. And my comment I made to her was, you could go to this movie or you could watch it when it comes out in Disney Plus and you would enjoy it and you wouldn't need to know anything about the background of really any of these characters. But none of the marketing sold that. So all these casual fans, think about all the streaming stuff that's out there today. All these casual fans that have been ingrained with Marvel and to some extent Star Wars, you got all these series with all these episodes, and you see this trailer come out and you're like, okay, I know that's Star Wars, but I don't have Disney Plus. I haven't watched any of those episodes. I don't have the time or commitment to go back and watch all 3 seasons to then get ready for this movie. I'm just not doing it. Too much effort. I don't have the time. I don't want to pay for Disney Plus. There was nothing in any of the marketing, including, from what I can recall, really any of the interviews where they really tried to sell the fact, and maybe they did a little bit, but there's nothing in the mass marketing anybody would have seen anywhere to let you know. You don't have to know everything about this series to go have fun watching it. And I'm not a marketing person. I don't know exactly how you do that, but I really think that's a miss for Lucasfilm and Disney not driving that point home more, because there's a lot of people that should go see this in the theater because they would love it and they would have a great time. But they're not going to do it because they think the barrier of entry is too high for them to actually be able to enjoy it. So I think that's a miss in my opinion. maybe I'm out in left field or right field, whatever the right acronym is. But anyway, I just really appreciate it, guys. Had a great time seeing you, hang with everybody, and thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, buddy. As always,
Sure.
thank you very much.
I think it would be kind of oddball for them to include in the official marketing for the film. Like what, on a poster or a trailer,
Yeah, I don't think you do.
You can
don't
be
do it-
ignorant and come into this movie. It's not a good way to sell it,
No,
because I
it's-
think
it's
you might
definitely
be turning
something-
off the longtime fans. You hear what I'm saying? You might be actually turning some people off by doing that. And that's the last thing you want to do with marketing. And I think they're doing it the right way by having Favreau go out there and do, the media campaign that this guy has been doing for this movie. He's been at it nonstop for at least 5 weeks. And we're talking about many different continents being involved here too.
Yeah.
And he just has been tirelessly going out and talking about this movie. And that is a talking point he brings up often.
It is. It's definitely not. It's not something you would add to a marketing campaign. It's definitely
No.
something you rely on your press tour to do. And I think that he's doing the best that he can. But I think you're absolutely right that is a slippery slope, because for every person that you attract by saying you don't need to know anything about Star Wars to come into this movie, then that starts the fans, us included, anybody saying, whoa, wait a minute. You don't have to know anything about Star Wars to see a Star Wars movie 50 years into the franchise? Well,
Right.
something's wrong with that. So, yeah, I think they were in a really, really tough spot. Now, maybe what they were hoping is that the word of mouth, which we haven't seen the results of, we'll start to see that this weekend, that the word of mouth will be like, you know what, I can take, or I can encourage this person or that person to come and see this movie, and they'll have a great time. It'll be a fun adventure, and they don't have to be all steeped in all the canon and the lore and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you're almost telling fans, once it goes through their filter, if you say you don't have to know anything about Star Wars to go see this movie, and you put it like on a film poster or on a trailer, then I think that gets translated by the fan base once it goes through their filters. Oh, I can skip this one then.
Sure.
I can blow this one off. There's no rush to see this. It's inconsequential.
Well, I remember in the dearth of Marvel films, there were people that wanted to go see the Avengers, the different Avengers movies, and they would be like, all right, what do I got to see in order for this to make sense?
Right.
And so I think people were kind of used to that, and there were movies that people would literally say, oh, you don't need to watch. You don't need to see The Incredible Hulk. You can skip that. It doesn't have any ramifications of this. So that's exactly it. They don't want this to be an excuse for people to sit out. And some people might have actually sat out with this one.
True.
All right, let's see where we at. You know what? We've got these super chats here. I do want to make sure that we acknowledge these. So we've got the Salacious one says, enjoyed it, but I have to admit, Hut speaking basic like you and me seemed bizarre. Well,
not to me. I mean, I've seen it a lot of times on the Clone Wars. When you think about episodes like The Hunt for Zero in season 3, which is coincidentally the only time we've ever been to Nal Hutta prior to this movie. And they were speaking English.
Yeah,
of course, Zero the Hutt
it was
himself
weird.
spoke English.
Right. But I mean, Zero is a totally bizarre character. It was absolutely out of left field when we met him. And I remember us talking about it. It's like, wait a minute. Hutts don't speak basic. Like, that's not, they wouldn't lower themselves to speak basic. They're criminal royalty. They don't have to. They're like the mafia dons that only speak Italian, you know? No offense to you Italians out there. I don't mean to be saying that, all Italians are gangsters, but I'm talking about in popular culture, the way that they were portrayed in the film. So I kind of feel it like that. It is weird to have the Hutt speaking basic. I really, in a film, it is weird. And,
No, I like the way they mixed it up. I like the way they mix it up because they would speak Huttese and then they would drop in English. Then they would go back to Huttese.
Yeah, that was okay.
I would get fatigued with the amount of dialogue that these Hutts had in this movie. I would have been so fatigued by the Huttese by the end. I would have been, and I know the audience would have been too. So for all the people who complain about it, really think about what the other, I mean, do you want to sit there for 2 hours and listen to nonstop Huttese? I would get fatigued.
I don't think the dialogue was that thick. I mean, I think
there
you
was
can
a
survive
lot, man. There are
watching
multiple scenes with Hutts, including the Jeremy Allen White.
Well, see, now that's where you get into a different situation because Jeremy Allen White's, Rada has not lived on Nal Hutta. He spent his entire life, or most of his life, in the hands of this coin or whatever the hell it is, or maybe just floating around in these. The point being, I don't know where the hell he was, but I don't think he was hanging out at Nal Hutta, and so,
of course not.
And he also wants to distinguish himself from his dad. And Dad spoke Huttese. I'm not speaking Huttese. Right? He wants to be able to relate to people. He doesn't want people to see him as a Hutt, as a gangster or something like that. So that one's forgivable. The thing I don't like about what they did with Alan White was I want that rumble to his voice. I don't want him to sound, like some guy, just got done surfing off the coast of California. I want him. I want that depth and that effect that they put on the Hutt voices.
There was some of that, but it wasn't over the top as usual. And you're right, though. I think it comes down to the dialect and the way they had him sounding was sort of after a while
too normal. It was too.
And
normal.
he was the dialogue they gave him was just so goddamn repetitive. I'm sorry, but it was
right.
And,
I'm not like my dad. Hutts are gangsters. I'm not. Then they're cheering for you, and then they want you to die.
I'd rather hear him say it than have to read it in subtitles over and over and over again. So that's just how I feel.
That actually might have been a good thing, because if they had to type out those subtitles, they would have been like, "Hey, we need another pass at this. This is really repetitive." I'm reading.
Did you guys read this?
Yeah. Here's
but I just want to say one more thing about Rada while it's still on my mind is he's a pretty good guy, right? He's presented as
he's a good guy.
Vastly opposite than his father. And I'd like to think that it was because of his exposure to Ahsoka and the Jedi when he was young, that there was some of that Force, voodoo that rubbed off on him a little bit and made him more on the light side. I mean, the Force exists in all things, and I've always looked at the connection between Grogu and Din Djarin. Din, his personality and his priorities obviously changed once Grogu came into his life. Excuse me. And it was rather instantaneous. So I'd like to think that it's just merely being exposed to a powerful source of the light side of the Force has a profound effect on non-Force users in a way in which it can kind of shape them to walk on the light side, just as they.
I like it. I like the by osmosis almost.
Yeah.
And you can look at our own religion. I think people that surrounded them, if you look at, I shouldn't say our own, but look at Christianity, for example, and there are accounts of people being completely changed just by being around Christ, right?
Yeah, that's what I look at it like that. It has that sort of effect. I mean, Han Solo is another example. You put him around a Ben Kenobi and a Luke Skywalker as he's emerging in the Force. All of a sudden, Han isn't working for the criminals anymore. He's working on the side of right. And we've seen other examples throughout the years in Star Wars. So I'd like to think that just the mere exposure to a Jedi will have an effect on the way that the people around them exist.
I like it. Baby Belushi says, so bummed I had to miss Cleveland. It was a great show. Even more bummed I missed the parties. Miss you guys, and thanks for the love. Love you guys. Love the wars. Keep them coming in the theaters. Ham. Yeah, I ate some of that ham.
Okay, so I put the call
out.
out. I just want to say this for
Okay.
those who aren't Patreon supporters, but on one of our shows, Patreon exclusive shows, RFR RPG, I don't know how it happened, but I put the call out for someone to bring Jason Swank some honey baked ham at the Cleveland Live podcast. And sure enough, right at the end of the show, Tyler rushes up on stage and presents Jason with a package. And I saw that honey baked ham logo on there and immediately knew why the presentation was happening. I wish I could remember who did it, though, because he came over and talked to me at the Opera House. And,
hopefully they're in the chat. Whoever you are, thank you, because at 3
I should have
a.m.
wrote your
after
name.
you've had a few too many, and you need something to soak it up. I mean, 5 slices of honey baked ham rolled up and eaten cold right out of the fridge was exactly what I needed. So
at
I
3 in the
appreciate
morning.
it. Yeah.
That was great. So thank you for that.
Yes. All right, here's one. This is a BD Brinsfield says, Jim's eyes when Jason said Pharaoh or borrow. I said Pharaoh. Cameo, armadillo in space. Why was there an armadillo ship in the movie? Being from Tennessee, Alabama, I know my armadillos, and that was an armadillo. Was there a ship that looked like an armadillo?
Maybe he's talking about that big junky freighter that they used to pick up Rada from Navarro, and what's the name of that place? Yeah, Navarro, and they were going to take him to, and they got intercepted by Embo, and then Rada got delivered to the hut. But remember, they found the ship at the end; it was crashed on Nal Hutta, and then they crashed it. They crashed it into the hut headquarters, and so I think that's the armadillo ship, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like it though. I like it.
And 64 Rescue says, I love RFR. I love Jason and Jimmy and Tyler too. Oh, well, we love you too. Thank you very much. That's very, very nice. Telview says, this reminded me of that spark I got from that first 3-ep arc from season 1. If you can't have fun with this Star Wars adventure, you might be a Lobot. Okay, well, so this definitely, for Tell's views, was just as exciting as his first dose of The Mandalorian back in season 1.
If you can't have fun with this, you're not a Lobot, you're a no-bot, fool.
The Madoween says, the movie reminded me of my childhood when me and my buddies took our Star Wars toys out into the woods and made up our own adventures and battles, and I was ready for such a film. Simple afternoon matinee fun.
Oh, my God. That I couldn't agree with more, because there's something about the way that this film rolls out the action sequences, and then it's separated by a little bit of plot, and then they get back into the action sequences. It rolls out like an action serial adventure, like the type of stuff that was the truest inspiration to George Lucas when he was creating Star Wars. You could talk about your Joseph Campbell all you want. You could talk about your samurai films till the sun comes up, and you could talk to me about the Westerns that inspired George Lucas. But at the end of the day, the thing that inspired him the most were the action serials that he watched as a kid growing up in California. That's the thing that sparked George Lucas's imagination in the most profound way. And this film captures that sort of energy. The serialized rollout of the individual action pieces all stitched together. It felt like a serial being put together into a giant movie presentation.
Tiger Ba 56 says, thoughts on a Mando Grogu video game in the era of the film? Play as Mando with Grogu as like a pet helper with like outlaws hunting New Republic bounties. I think pretty sure Fortnite did something like this in the lead up to Mando Grogu coming out, where I believe you could play as Mando and you had Grogu as a side character or something like that. So not really a big gamer myself, but yeah, sure, why not? I don't hate it.
Here's something I didn't like, okay? I didn't like this at all. And I was reminded by this super chat when Tiger Ba 56 says, I can't see it now. You just remove the super chat from the screen.
What, the video game?
Yeah, could you put the super chat back up? Because I was just going to read it and it disappeared.
I just read it.
Well, I wanted to read a specific part of it again.
We've got 15 of these to go through. If we have to read them all twice, we're never going to get through it.
I was just about ready to reread that one part. Now I can't even remember what the hell I was talking about. Okay, play as Mando with Grogu as like a pet/helper.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I did not care one bit for Mando telling Grogu to heal, and he did it twice in the movie. Heal. What is Grogu? He's a puppy? No, this is Grogu.
He
You don't
said
tell
heal?
him to heal. Yes, like Grogu was a dog. He did it twice in the movie.
Weird.
He did it once with the Anzellans, and then one other time later in the movie. I can't.
Heal.
It might have happened at the Delphi base, but heal.
Yeah, I don't like that. I didn't.
What the F? Huh. What are you gonna do next? Start following him around with little doggy bags to pick up his poop?
And we know his poop would be blue because he's eating all those Nilla wafers, those Nilla
Green.
nummies.
They actually turn them green. They go through you. They start at blue and then they come out green. I guess that's what they were saying in the chat.
Oh, I heard blue. Turned his poop blue.
Oh,
Green?
I'm going to work on that again. There'll be a photo gallery.
Here's Curtis from Omaha says, I thought I was taking my kids to a kids movie. I didn't know I would be seeing Eyes Wide Hut. Remove your helmet, or shall we remove it for you? That's a good one.
I love that.
Eyes Wide Hut. We need that movie. Here's Nick Hees. He says, I love the sophistication of Andor. I also have time for wars that's less sophisticated if done well. I think this was a bit like Skeleton Crew. I think this is quite a bit above Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, it's
Quite a
well
bit.
beyond skill, but I get what he's saying. You know,
Yeah.
the straightforward approach, the lack of connecting it to the overall mythology and the 50 years of storytelling. It was just a pretty straightforward standalone tale, like Skeleton Crew was, without being reliant on anything else.
We have our ham guy, Joey and Heath from Traverse City, Michigan, brought the ham. I didn't know that was Michigan ham. I wouldn't have eaten it.
It is
had I
Michigan
known.
ham, and I'm proud of those guys.
No, it was
bringing the
awesome.
ham.
Thank you, guys. It was great. It was fantastic.
Now, what's your hang up with Michigan? Is this some?
It's just like you in Wisconsin.
Oh, I putting it to me that way. I totally understand. You know what they call us in Wisconsin? They call us fibs, effing Illinois beef. I'll just stick with the letters.
Kyle Barres says, great weekend, lots of fun. RFR definitely number one. Love seeing everyone again and meeting lots of new friends. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Great to see you as well. Tyler Benware says, great to see so much love for Mando. I'm lucky enough to live near one of the 20 true IMAX screens. I highly recommend seeing it in 143. 50 plus minutes of IMAX Star Wars is epic. It's like a whole different film. I'm jealous. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
that
that's
would
pretty
be
cool.
great. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. We're thinking about doing RFR at 143 as well.
Is it
So
okay?
you guys are gonna have to get bigger computer screens.
This is for Tyler, I think. On behalf of Boston Dan, take your shirt off. Tyler,
What is
this is just, I don't understand this.
I don't get this.
Someone
either.
needs to explain the Tyler shirt off meme.
Does this have anything to do with the tarps off trend that's going through MLB lately?
I'm not sure, but it's going to take more than $2. There is a price.
Yeah,
there is a price.
More than $2 and a hell of a lot more honey baked ham.
Yeah. Keep the ham coming.
Keep the ham coming. Says
Tyler, how much would it take for you to take off your shirt and then rub the honey baked ham all over you?
Now I want to see that. Tyler and the ham. Coming soon to Rebel Force Radio.
Oh, all right. Clark7202 says, Jimmy, I wanted to tell you that I had my own version of your Phantom Menace experience. My wife is 38 weeks pregnant. Ooh, and so I watched the movie with my phone on my lap, ringer on, thinking, just hold on for 2 hours. Just hold on.
And everything's cool, right? I mean, we're still, I don't think he's a father yet.
Okay.
So maybe he could fit in a couple more screenings of the film before it happens. Yeah, I remember that, obviously.
Keep testing fate like that, Clark. I mean, keep it. Keep trying.
My first son was born 4 days after The Phantom Menace was released. And so obviously I was nervous as hell that bing, bang, boom, as soon as that opening crawl hits the screen, the pager will start buzzing. But I got lucky. He held off for 4 days. So I was able to fit in a couple of screenings and took the pregnant wife, 9 months pregnant, to The Phantom Menace that night. I saw it twice on opening day. And God bless her. She sat there and watched the whole thing. No bathroom breaks, nothing. It was great.
All right, here is, I believe it's Majin. I would love for you to tell us how to, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So, but I believe it's Majin says, Chut, guys, just popping in. Can't wait to hear the full show later on. Love the movie. Carl Weathers tribute is an Arabesh sign that says Weathers Apollo after the Dejeric escape. Thanks for that. Yep, we had our own Baby Belushi scooped you a little bit on that, but that is definitely making the rounds. Turtle Wars says, I thought about walking down and slapping down a $20 bill on the table Saturday night as a live super chat, but decided not to cause a scene and disrupt the podcast. So here's a belated one. Well, we appreciate
That's
it.
awesome.
Thank you very much, Turtle
and,
Wars.
you know, you don't have to slap it down on the table. That's not necessarily. Just throw it at us.
Right. You make it like one of those little football things and just flick it. Corman Black, or is it Corman? Cormoran Black, sorry. Cormorant Black says, I don't know one way or another about Hoth, but the Empire did take the planet and Empire Strikes Back. So if it's an Imperial holdout, I could see it being plausible. I don't know. I mean, did they take it? Like, what would they want with it? Because there's no people there. I mean, I guess they did take it to some, but it's not like, with Maul when they took, like who wants to live there? Are they going to sell the real estate?
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody there, so I just don't see what the point would be. Plus with Wampas and forget about it.
Oh yeah, right. And the deleted scenes where they were, ripping up the Imperials. Here's Tanya. Love seeing Tanya. Tanya was very kind. She brought us some. I got my Mando and Grogu pens from Tanya.
That was
Thank
really
you,
nice
Tanya.
of her. I have that as well.
And these beautiful gold. Look at this. Look at these $100 bills here. I'm rich. Mando,
right.
Grogu. These are gold plated. Look at this.
Those are so awesome.
I love it. Anyway, Tanya says. And Tanya's one classy girl. Real talk, anyone have blue poop from the blue milk, wondering what those blue Nilla wafers will do? Mac is saying green. His money's on green. So if the blue milk turns your poo blue, he's saying that maybe the blue, we'll find out. Stay tuned. Patreon exclusive, new show.
I'm going for Grogu green. It'll be the cutest turds you ever seen in the bowl.
I don't know what this means, Brian Egan. Lies, it wasn't me. I don't know.
Oh,
what
I
that
do.
is.
He
What's
was
that?
the guy. He was the barf guy who got dragged off early.
Oh, he's saying it's all lies. It wasn't him that got carried out.
Okay.
All right. Well, your friends are
full investigative report coming up, I'm sure.
WTPO says, thanks for the extras after show and everything you do for the community. Gentlemen, the only thing wrong with this movie was it having opening credits. That was an interesting choice for a Star Wars. Yeah. Even trying to think. Yeah, no. Some of the TV shows have had opening credits. I was trying to think if any of those have had it before. Mando didn't.
No.
But I feel like Andor. I feel like Andor did. Did Andor?
No.
No opening credits at all.
This is the first for Star Wars. And it had the spaghetti Western vibes.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, when I think of those Clint Eastwood movies, those were more like, I think those were like kind of that Sid Mead sort of with the shapes and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's like that, but it just had the vibes. That's all. Felt very different, though. I agree. And I wasn't even paying attention to the stuff on the screen the first time I saw the movie because I was reading the credits. So I was missing a lot of the flying into Delphi base because I'm sitting there trying to keep up with the credits. And then I'm like, how do they get to Delphi base? What happened? Well,
yeah, I'm wondering if this was this opening credits thing was because of the people that were in the movie. And by people, I mean Pedro Pascal.
Oh, Pedro demanded it. Yes, I know there's 49 years of Star Wars tradition at stake here, but
Maybe not
I really got to
Pedro,
see
but
my name at the beginning of this thing.
Pedro's agent. Because there's money attached to whether you're above or below title, and there's all kinds of there's stuff, and you know they don't have George Lucas anymore to say screw that, that's not what I do. I mean, George took a fine, I believe, paid a big fine, dropped out of the Directors Guild because of the credits.
Yeah. He fought hard to make sure that there were no opening credits on his movie. So that's just different, you know. I look at this more as a spinoff, and so I'm much more tolerant of those sort of stylistic changes. And I expect we will get The Crawl with the Simon Kinberg trilogy. I bet we don't get it for Starfighter.
Yeah, Filoni came right out and said, we use The Crawl for episodic, the episodic films. Came right out and said it in an interview.
So, you need a Roman numeral. So that means they're going to be continuing with the episodic.
Yeah, I believe he called it the chapter films, is what the term he used.
Chapter films.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. Chapter films. Penguins, wolves.
All right, here's a Cormorant Black is back. He says the first 6 episodes of Star Wars could essentially be watched on their own because they were serialized, part of a larger story. Sure, but they stood on their own, just like this movie.
Yeah,
sure, you can watch any movie on its own, but that's certainly not what they were designed to do. I feel like the serials were more. Well, I disagree with that. I appreciate the super chat, but I definitely disagree. Sure, you could, but I don't think it'd be a great experience.
Agreed.
Right?
You just floated that one out there, but.
Oh, all right. Thank you all so much for hanging with us. This has been a lot of fun. It's been great to just get another swing at breaking this down, and it's been especially awesome to hear from all of you. I know we didn't get to all of our callers, but that's all right. We might do more of these in the future, maybe over the summer. We don't have to wait for a new movie or a new TV show to open the phone lines and do a live show. Big thanks to everybody for hanging out, and especially our pal Tyler Page. We kept you busy tonight. Yeah. A lot of different thoughts and opinions. Anything jump out at you, Tyler? You've seen the movie more than once now. Anything that over the last 2 after shows as the official program observer that we haven't talked about or gotten to or made enough a big deal of?
The one thing that I keep coming back to, and maybe we've talked about it, it's just the use of fire that Mando has in this movie that I feel like we don't see as much in the show. Especially that opening sequence where he burns the pilot of the AT-AT, takes him off. Like, one of the best action sequences in Star Wars history, in my opinion.
His raid on the AT-AT? Yeah, insane.
Yeah, and he's got like a whole screen wipe with it that they use. I don't know, super cool. I loved 80% of the movie. 20% of it felt like corporate filmmaking. I think that's where I'm landing.
Oh, felt like what filmmaking?
Like corporate filmmaking.
Okay.
So how about an example of that? What do you mean by that?
I think they rushed whatever they did with Sigourney Weaver. I think they rushed.
I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
they had 1 or 2 days with her, and they were just left with the best that they could get from her. I really think that. So I might have to agree with you there. Would you have rather
they're
seen
just
Harrison Ford in that role? DH.
No, not in that role.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I want him in Star Wars, but not in that role. Yeah.
See, now Max got me thinking about all of the different possibilities that they could have pulled up. How about a Wedge? Right? We get a Dennis Lawson in there. Yeah, DH him. Find fake Wedge. DH him.
Get a new fake Wedge and make him younger.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm with you on the Sigourney. Going into the movie, she was something that I was really looking forward to, and I hate saying this because she's such a lovely person. She comes across great in interviews. She's a legend. She's been in so many great movies, and but yeah, there was something that was just not clicking with her. Yeah. Oh, Trenton Taylor says Sigourney was like the only celeb who stopped for no fans. So so maybe she's not as warm and fuzzy as I thought. She did one selfie and out, gone. Well, can't hardly blame her for that, I guess.
She's kind of advancing in age a little bit.
Yeah, right. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, she's a little old. She looks great, but yeah, she's a little older. But yeah, she did not work in this movie at all. Just didn't work in the movie at all. So I'm kind of hoping that we don't see the Colonel anytime soon. That's hard to say. Because it hurts me to say that because I like Sigourney Weaver so much. But all right, Ty. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't suppose, Jimmy, you have final thoughts for Mandalorian and Grogu on this after the after show, do you?
After the after show. That was a pretty clever little title there, too. For After the After Show. Well, I mean, thanks again to everyone who came out to Cleveland. Jason, thank you and the Playhouse Square Theaters for really making us feel very comfortable and at home and just doing a great job overall. To sum up my thoughts on this, I'm just going to read you a little review I wrote for our Jedi Council today. I believe it was Paul Bateman, F.J. DeSanto, Kyle Newman, myself, and Jason were texting back and forth about this film. And what I wrote is the following. I've seen it 3 times and I like it more with each viewing. Amazing visuals and exceptional action sequences. Story inconsequential? Maybe. It comes off as rather surface level, but it captures the old action serial vibes that served as Lucas's truest inspiration. And everything is light years in quality and scale beyond anything they ever did with the TV show. Incredible eye candy and energy. Pure Star Wars. I really dig the connection between Grogu and Din. As a father, it appeals to me on a different level. I love when things slow down in the second half on Nal Hutta. Perfect timing to take that kind of break. I don't see it as a pacing issue whatsoever, like some have criticized. It was a well-placed breather and beautifully shot and sweet as well. Again, light years beyond anything done on TV. Puff a pig, not in this movie.
All right. That'll do it for us. We'll see you next time here at Rebel Force Radio. There's still going to be plenty of time to digest Mandalorian and Grogu. Don't forget, I mean, it's just probably going to be showing up on Disney Plus. My guess is month and a half. I think we'll be seeing this thing on Disney Plus probably sometime in the middle of July, if not before that. And there will be plenty of time to watch it and rewatch it and talk about it. And so, yeah, this is just the beginning. Star Wars back in theaters, and now the countdown begins for the next one. Next May in Starfighter. So you can bet on one thing, Rebel Force Radio will be here the whole way. So that's going to wrap things up for us here. But but not the final word on The Mandalorian and Grogu by any stretch. So we see you next time. For Rebel Force Radio, I'm Jason.
I'm Jimmy Mack.
And remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
Wait a minute. I gotta pot the music down because you're playing the Puffer Pig, and Jon Favreau and Filoni bring up the Puffer Pig, on the junket scene.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they're talking Puffer Pig, and I just so badly wanted to be like, Puffer Pig, not in this movie. He didn't do it, but it would have been so good. It'd have been so good. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have known.
Woo!